You're live.
Hey, welcome everybody. Today is August 9th. This is our weekly county commissioner meeting. At this time, I please ask everyone to rise and say the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thanks, Dave. Everybody have a chance to look at the agenda. Is there any emergency additions?
None for me. I didn't see anything.
So I'd entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as it stands.
I'll second.
Moved in second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Casey, come on up. Our next item is an action item. These are the bills we pay every couple of weeks.
I'm sorry, did you say you would like an agenda? Oh, okay, perfect.
I think we're missing a few things in our packet.
Actually, I have it in my phone.
Did you send the meeting minutes, Gabby, from last time?
You did.
I sent them as a draft in a
Yeah,
separate
Thursday,
email,
last Thursday.
Okay.
but I have them if you would
Missed
like
that
to
one.
review them between now and.
If these guys look.
So we'll get into claims. Any questions or comments? We have a bunch of board orders. We have one junior college. Anybody have any comments or issues?
I didn't see
I didn't see
anything.
anything either.
Didn't see anything either. So I'd entertain a motion to approve.
Move to approve the claims, board order claims, and one junior college tuition.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
So Casey, we still have one more billing cycle? No, or one more month or 2 more months? We still have 2 more months, right, of actual bills? Because this ran through 8/5 for our cash forward. So we'll still have 9/5 and then one final one at the 1st of October. I'm just trying to figure out how much cash.
No, so we have, we generally allow the departments to put in claims for fiscal year 21 through the end of October. And so what I usually do is I split them out, so we'll have claims for 22 and claims for 21, and I'll send them as separate
Okay.
claims.
We may have things then really clear up until the 1st of November, pretty much.
Probably some stuff from road department too.
How's it going with the fair putting in all of their billing?
Probably be a good question for the facility.
Okay. So they're going through Scott instead of just sending you direct invoicing?
Right.
Doesn't it kind of depend upon what it is, aren't they?
It doesn't.
Or are they all,
Well-
it depends if it's, they're doing their own, if it's not.
Scott doesn't
about
have the
property.
budget to pay for the stuff that the fairground, the fair board is wanting to have done. So, I mean, the fair board could send me the bill, but we don't have a, no one has talked to me about where we would pay those out anyway. And
Okay.
so,
So they had talked with Doug, and Doug basically said up to $1,000, we will find, funding for them. So we probably just take it out of Hill, the general fund, but I'm just wondering who they're sending all of the receipt, who they're sending all the invoicing to.
I think that's been going through Scott at this point.
All right, we'll ask him when he gets here.
Goodness. And this was for the fridge. New house.
Yeah.
time I finish signing the last one, you can't read it.
I want to go for a tour in the new house before we get somebody in there.
I went in there last week. It's
Oh,
pretty
did you?
cool, yeah. Boom, there you go.
I've still got carryover of 9 million right now.
Sorry, what?
Jeff still has carryover of 9 million right now. I guess we've got quite a bit committed coming up, but
Okay, we're gonna move on down to our agenda items. Our next items are elected officials report. These are not action items. And we're a little early because June's not here yet. Give her a few more minutes and then we'll start. Busy weekend this weekend, Sheriff? You have guys back there?
and the road was closed. Oh my gosh. That's all I could think of is, we were trying to get that road done before 1 million people drove on it, and then they had to have 2 million people drive on it since the South Fork was closed. And I'm really glad we didn't have that FERDA where we were fixing the South Fork.
I'm really glad too.
You want me to email?
Morning, Brian.
Good morning.
We're just about to start with elected officials. We're waiting for June.
Sounds good. I saw her on the way up here. I think she's should be here in a minute. All meetings, video now.
Mm-hmm.
Running now.
Mm-hmm. The camera back there above the clock is which,
Would have been possible for the prior speaker to visit
the Casey, she brings the bills. There's really nothing for her to say. They're just all, we get them all like the week before and get to go through them all. And if we have any questions, then we ask her here, but these mics pick her up too as well. So, okay, June, come on up. We're gonna go to elected officials. You're up first.
We are upgrading our system too. That little tile up there is a microphone that's supposed to be picking up the entire room. I don't know that that's working correctly, but we will see.
We're working on it. Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Morning.
We are still just frantically trying to do our reappraisal. They did get Sue's finished, so that's good. We got one out of the way, and they're doubling up and trying to get the others. We have a new DMV employee starting next Tuesday. We're very excited about that.
Can you give us the name?
Trina MacArthur.
Do you have any experience at all or customer service? Okay.
Customer service, yes. DMV, no. She is scheduled to go to school the following week. They are offering another week-long class, so I enrolled her. I've got her enrolled to go for a full week. It really helped Jana. Jana's doing a great job in McCall. Angela is beyond thrilled. So I think it does pay off to send them to school for a week. Since that's new and we're going to take advantage of it.
Is this the same Trina that delivers mail? Oh, we are.
Yes.
Cool, okay.
Yeah.
Do you have that in your budget, June, or do you need some assistance with that?
I will see. I think I can stretch it. That's what I'm hoping. I don't have a line item for education or school, but I believe in my DMV budget, I may have a little wiggle room.
Did you put that in your new budget?
Yes,
for-
I did.
Okay, perfect.
And I do want to let you know that I am going to the assessor conference the week of I think it's the 22nd. I can't see from here. It's in 2 weeks.
Of August?
Yes, I am taking a county vehicle, and I wanted to make sure it be acceptable with you if I take Stacy, the Adams County assessor, with me. She and I are going to travel over together. We're going to Salmon. The other request I had is when we get back Thursday night, if I could bring the vehicle back in Friday morning, so I don't have to drive in Thursday night to bring it and then drop it off, if that's okay.
Okey dokey with me.
Okay, Mike can bring me in on Sunday to pick it up. We're gonna leave Sunday afternoon, so he can bring me in to get it then, but
Get it all set up with Jeff and
yes.
all that
Oh,
stuff.
yeah, I've got it all scheduled. And Trina will also be taking a vehicle down to school, but she's going down Sunday, so when she gets here next week, we'll make arrangements for her to come in and pick her vehicle up Sunday too. Maybe I can bring her in since we're both leaving the same day. I don't
How
know.
long is she in school? 3 or 4 days? 5?
1 week.
Wait,
Sometimes if she's willing, she could take her personal reimburse her mileage down and back. Because it depends on how many other folks need that vehicle
Well-
that whole week.
Mickey said there was no problem.
Okay,
So I did schedule it and I told her that, but she
Okay.
said so far there's no issues. If something does come up, either I can take my own or Trina can take her own. I'm not too concerned.
well, just explain the rules about driving around Boise in a county
Oh, she knows.
vehicle. Okay,
She knows. She
Yeah.
knows to school and back.
right.
So anyhow, that's all that I have for right now. So I won't be here in 2 weeks, but do you have
Okay,
any questions for me?
how's Sue doing?
She's getting there.
Okay,
We
good.
went out to see her on Sunday. Kept
She's
her.
home then?
She is. She got
Okay,
home
good.
Friday. Very glad to be home.
Awesome.
It's going to be a long recovery.
now she'll be out riding horses here for you, you know it. No one Sue.
Maybe not.
She's talking about it, but I don't think that'll happen right away. No,
Don't want to be breaking any colts, but,
no.
okay, any more questions for June? All right, thank
Okay,
you, have a
thank
good
you.
day. Clerk, I'm assuming Gabby, you're filling in for the boss?
Morning,
Morning.
Commissioners. So I'm reporting for Doug as he is out, but he did want me to inform you he will be back in on Wednesday. And we have the clerks conference this week up at Tamarack. It's Tuesday, Wednesday, and half day Thursday. So I'm going to attend that on his behalf since he will still be getting back from being off for a week and a half. So I will be attending that. We did get a new order from the Supreme Court regarding COVID issues. They have scaled back to what we were doing in the court with masks. They're requiring all court staff to wear masks in the courtroom and if they're dealing with the public, and to have all people attending court or paying tickets at the front counter wear masks as well. So Deputy Murphy has the order, and he is asking people where they're going, and if they're going to court, he makes sure they have a mask or provides them one if they do not have one. We do have a jury trial scheduled for the 24th of August. I think it's a 3-day trial in district court. So that is still under the order where they look at the cases weekly, the Supreme Court does, and they let us know if we can proceed for the following week. So we won't know until the 19th of August whether or not we can have that trial or not. So it just depends upon the numbers here in Valley County. That is all I had to report, unless you guys have any questions. All right.
So does Larry have a box of masks down at the security?
Yes.
Okay.
We still have plenty, do you know?
I do not know. I can ask him, though.
Okay. We probably should check in with Scott, I guess maybe.
Stocking up a little bit.
Yeah. I'll ask Scott when he's in here.
Okay,
Yeah, because I imagine most people are not used to, they've stopped
Right.
carrying one with them, so
Wondering
it'll
too.
be a lot of requests for them, I'm sure.
hey, any more questions for Gabby? All right, thank you. Brian?
We have Brian this
So this is our last chance to get this case tried before the school year starts. And so I asked him to keep the date and hope for the best. So that's what we'll do.
Your new team member you're going to be adding this fall, will
Yeah.
they be more civil or more oriented toward the court, or do you know what that looks like yet?
Yeah, that person is going to be mostly criminal. And so that person is going to handle the misdemeanor docket, maybe some of the juvenile stuff. We'll certainly have the person involved maybe doing a little bit of the civil stuff. But, you know, there is definitely enough criminal work for two people. I mean, it's a heavy criminal calendar for. It's too heavy for one person, but there's definitely enough work for two, and that person will initially focus on doing criminal work, and if they have additional time, if they have the ability to help Oki out with some of the civil stuff, then they'll do that. But I don't foresee them having a whole lot of extra time.
We are growing.
Any
Yes,
more
we are.
questions for Brian? All right, thank you. Thanks for coming up.
My pleasure. Thank you, guys.
Sheriff. Good morning.
Morning. Well, we made it to the Harmonica Festival and with the road closed as it was on the South Fork. I think we just had maybe a DUI and one other charge. Things went well. It was well covered by our.
Was there, estimate how many people? Was there quite a few?
Well, I was just asking one of my deputies, and he thought maybe, well, at first he said over 1,000 in this one campground, and then he says about 1,500. So I don't know if that was the total 1,500 or if it's 2,500. He was kind of trying to guesstimate how many there. But it was good. He said, they didn't have really any problems.
Good, good. That's pretty rare for
Yeah.
for one DUI.
So this week's fair and Harmonica Festival on the weekend. So we'll be dealing with just the parade is all there at the Huckleberry Festival. But just with the different road projects on 55, we've had to put some extra patrols out on like farm to market and areas. Some complaints.
A lot of traffic on Farm to Market.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the bypass road right now.
Yeah, it is. So we spent quite a bit of time last week on.
I've enjoyed seeing more white trucks on the Farm to Market since it's my backyard too.
Yeah. So other than that, that's all I have to report.
And you got the memo from ITD that they're going to go back to closures right after Labor Day,
Right. We
10 to
that.
2.
And that's on our, yes,
Good.
we have that on our site as well.
Okay, any more questions for the sheriff? I guess that's it. Thank you. Treasurer. Morning, Gabe.
Morning, Commissioners. Currently have 9 parcels in tax deed. Our tax deed hearing is scheduled for next Monday, the 16th at 1 o'clock. And Gabby, I noticed that wasn't on the draft agenda. If you could please add that.
And what time was it next week?
1 o'clock.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Chief Deputy Jody Green and I attended the Treasurers Conference, the Idaho Association of Counties Treasurers Conference in Idaho Falls last week. It was excellent. We had the Tax Commission there for a couple of sessions, and it was just a great conference. In 2023, District 3 gets to host that, so we're working on it, talking about it, and I think it's going to be in Cascade or McCall, actually. So looking forward to that.
Thanks.
Let's see. That's really all I have for you this morning, unless you have questions.
Gabe, I was talking to Gabby this morning about it. Have we gone through solid waste yet? Kind of looked at that budget. Are we pretty safe and secure there?
I haven't been monitoring that since we have Scott, the facilities manager,
Well, that's right.
and
he's
solid
doing
waste
that now.
manager. So,
I forgot. You're not doing that.
right.
I know Scott from Lakeshore said the tonnage is way up.
Okay. I wouldn't be surprised by that.
He's going to put in his budget for 2 more trucks and 1 more truck and 2 more trailers
Oh, okay.
to handle the load. In the height of Tamarack, we were doing about 30,000 ton, and I think we're about 15,000 now. But you don't know it, so you're not, I gotta talk to Scott about that, but
Sorry,
we need to
yeah.
look at that budget and make sure we're gonna stay on top of that as well,
Right.
so.
I'm happy to help him with it.
Okay.
You know,
I appreciate
I
that.
have off and on, but if he needs to sit down with me,
Okay,
Gabe, have you looked at our cash forward? Are we gonna be okay until the end of the budget? Think we'll have to bring in any or?
as far as I can tell, I think we'll be fine with that.
Fine,
So.
okay.
hey, any more questions for Gabe?
Question on that.
Joel, go ahead.
So on the process of that, if that comes up next Monday, just accept payment and we're take possession of the property at that time, auction happen.
An auction happens after that. So the tax deed hearing next Monday is to give the public an opportunity to basically oppose what my office is. That's the process. Take the deed to the property at that time. The auction, it's not officially scheduled yet, but it'll be about
Owner have an opportunity. Buyer buys it at the time.
between that period of time, between the next Monday's hearing and the auction, and redeem the property by paying off all years of taxes. After the auction, no.
They only have to pick up outstanding for this back year.
Between now and the hearing date,
Yeah.
that's correct.
Jeremy, does this mic pick up people from the crowd like that? I mean, Joel, if you're gonna ask questions, you really need to do it in a microphone because we are recording so that the public understands what's happening in the
No, I
room.
didn't get up because you stated earlier that the mics were.
That's what I'm asking. Do you know? Or is it just at the table? We still need the public to get up to that microphone? Just for the table, okay.
Okay,
So,
all right.
no.
Any more questions for Gabe? If not, thanks.
Thank you.
Good to see you. Okay, we're gonna move right on into the department heads. Annette? Good morning.
Morning. I don't have a whole lot for you. We're just summertime. We're at 285 permits. Plans coming in have slowed. We're still busy enough with inspections. People are starting to get concrete, but now they can't get trusses and whatever. I mean,
A lot of backup. There's a lot of backup right now.
yeah.
We also have a lot of people asking about next summer and scheduling already, so next summer's gonna be a wild one.
It'll be different than this one, sure.
A lot can change between now and next summer,
Oh, yeah.
especially the economy,
Yeah,
so,
yeah, we'll see what happens, I guess.
yeah.
Tony's gonna be gone for 2 weeks, starting next week, so.
He's getting married.
Getting married? Oh, how exciting.
We'll be gone. Cindy and I have discussed the treehouse ordinance. We'll just start working on it whenever we both have the time, which,
I was gonna ask you how that's going.
yeah. So we've been talking about it. Starting to work on sheds a little bit more, going out, taking some pictures. Oki told me to get more pictures, and then we sit down and work on it, so.
I have not heard from anybody on the sheds.
The ones I told you about didn't happen. They were very,
Reasonable?
yes,
Good, good.
very compliant, so. That's good. That's all I got.
Okay, any questions for Annette? All right, thank you. Our next one is Skip, and Skip is down at
Training.
post-training, so he's not available. Melissa? You look like a 4-H'er today.
Right?
My Master Gardener shirt on, my
Yeah.
4-H hat.
Yeah,
So fair is underway. It was nice to be at the fairgrounds on Saturday and see that the open class was already set up, which is something that's different. And then walking in there, they had new tables, and it was just nice to see activity over there. And I don't know, it felt really good to have fair not all be set up on Saturday, and some of it was already set up. So that's great. I had the privilege of cleaning the bathrooms on Saturday, and they are the most unloved bathrooms I have ever seen. And I've worked at a lot of environmental education camps, and even pit toilets have more love than those things. So anyway, I encourage you to have a bathroom experience at the fairground while it's up and running. And there's like a half an inch of dirt and just mud that's caked on the floor. And I don't know if you've ever heard the saying of like, go to a restroom and then you can judge the restaurant. But
So let's have a conversation with the Fairburn, because I'd asked them to look into the mobile units where you could bring in the really nice, walk-in mobile units. So
Yeah.
that obviously didn't happen. So
well,
let's try
they do
and-
bring in, what are they, porta potties?
But not the ones that include showers and,
That might be something, yeah, for future. I'm glad that you're working with their board. I'm glad that they're thinking about it, but.
How many portables do they bring in? I mean, is it something we could just get rid of the two toilets that we have or the bathroom facility down there?
They bring in ADA accessible stalls that are portable, and they're spread out throughout, but I can't from memory remember how many we had from last year. But anyway, I just wanted
That's
to.
kind of the showers are the key. We don't
Yeah,
have
but-
shower facilities.
Right, but the rec center, they've been gracious to offer up shower facilities for people that use their amenities, and so that is an asset down there. But I just wanted to brag on Valley County fairground toilets. Sorry. I had
maybe
to
we
do
just
it
lock them.
since I was
That's
scrubbing
what I'm
them.
saying.
We
I accidentally
lock
push them
them.
over with a bulldozer.
Yeah.
Well, we did actually talk here a while back about getting some of those concrete bathrooms like we have for grooming and replace that one down there. They make them with showers in them now, and I don't know, I think they're $6,000 to $8,000, and I think it's something that we should probably pursue, because that has been there since the world started, I think. That's original bathroom.
Yeah, and I can tell. Sorry.
And the other thing is the
Leave it alone.
bathrooms at Armstrong Park are open, aren't they?
I know people have migrated to use those in the past, and I imagine they probably will be open. But
Well, we need to check that and make sure those are open during the fair too. That'll take a lot of the heat off those. Okay,
yeah, that was just a little rabbit hole. Sorry. Chili cook-off is today. In the future, if you're not doing that already, it's a really great way to support fair, to support the horse kids. There's no food facility venues there yet, and so the chili cook-off fills that need of people that are there all day, wanting and needing to eat. And the horse shows are really impressive, and so if people are looking for a fun lunch getaway, go and bring your lunch over to the fairgrounds and watch the horse kids. This week, I'll be continuing to do some of my normal work during the week and then going over to fair in the afternoon. So Trails Coalition morning meeting tomorrow morning. And then the PLN, the Peer Learning Network, will be focusing on early childhood education on Wednesday. And then next week, I'll be wrapping up the Advanced Master Gardener project. Excited to have my first batch of advanced master gardeners. I haven't been able to pull that program off since I've been in this position, and so that's like been 7 years. And so, yay! I did my first batch, and I'll be recognizing some people that have stayed in that program for 15 to 20 years, and they've gained emeritus status. And then I'll be recognizing 3 people from the 2016 class, which was my first master gardener program, and they've been in the program for 5 years. And then we have a whole new batch of people that did it in 2020. And so they'll hopefully retain their volunteerism through that recognition and appreciation that we give the long-term Master Gardener volunteers. Next week, there'll also be the Youth and Opportunity National Issues Forum discussion. We moved that time slot from the evening to a lunch hour, or a little bit after lunch, so it's 1 to 2:30. And we do have people registered for it, so we're going to move forward with that, and Rebecca is leading that. This will be Rebecca's last month, and so we will miss her. She's done amazing things with the youth in Valley County. She's put together something I think anybody from any age group could be proud of. There's this gigantic 20-foot by 12-foot kinetic sculpture that's at the fairgrounds where like kids can pedal 4 bikes and move this gigantic dragon. I mean, there's an engineering feat of brilliance that the kids put together through the programming that she did. And she did that programming in Cascade and in Donnelly. And so I encourage you to check that out. It is something anybody would be proud of at any age. So some other things that are just up on the radar, up and coming. The Weekend Network, which is part of the PLN initiative, which is the Idaho, Montana, Wyoming efforts for community development In Idaho, it's directly in partnership with the Idaho Rural Partnership. But we've identified housing, go figure, as a priority topic. And so the 3 states will be coming together with participants in the community reviews and the PLNs to be able to discuss housing a little bit more. And I don't know what that's going to look like, but that's looking at some sort of webinar type of thing in the fall. That's, I'm hoping, not going to be redundant on the efforts of the NAR network with the Utah State Extension that just completed. And so I'm hoping we can figure out where the gaps were and then pick up the conversation and move it forward from that. And then I think I had mentioned before, there's a land use committee with the National Organization for Community Development with Extension, and they've also identified housing as being an issue. Go figure. And so I think that that'll be an interesting conversation, looking at, how is Extension related to that, or in what ways can Extension support local efforts to address this community need that a lot of people are seeing everywhere. So those are just 2 other things on the radar for this fall that are emerging.
Small topics.
Yeah, really. and I think, the early childhood education conversation is happening Wednesday, and I asked Darcy, which is the point person with the Economic Development Center, I said, is this conversation to be redundant to anything that you're doing? And I really liked her response. Her response was, I don't think there can be too many conversations about this topic. And so we just need to keep discussing it in several different places until there's some sort of light or brilliance or something that comes together to figure it out. And so I think that's the same thing with housing. It's like there might be all these different conversations happening in different places, but maybe there'll be this perfect moment where there's people that came together that have been part of different conversations and some sort of creativity emerges. And so, I guess those big issues, we just need to keep talking about them until some sort of movement gets figured out. But any questions for me?
I have one, Melissa. Do you know the after-school programs? I think they're starting in middle of September this year. Why don't they start when school starts? Is it a funding issue?
So I don't know, but I know that I don't plug into them until later, even later, because I don't get the AmeriCorps until October 1st. And so I'm not sure why they don't start right when
Who would I
school
talk
starts.
to that's kind of head of that?
Shauna Arnold helps
Shauna?
coordinate them for Cascade. Sherry, she lined with the Donnelly Public Library.
Sherry,
She
okay.
coordinates them for Donnelly. And then the McCullough's Payette Lakes after school, and they're in Barbara Morgan. And then that's going to be Ashley. And Ashley was an AmeriCorps for 2 years, and now she's the ED of the after school program up in McCullough, and she's amazing. I always have to give a shout out to Ashley because I've seen her programming. It's good. So it's great to have her talents.
Yeah, well, it's something that I need to work on because we need to start them sooner. If it's a funding issue, then we need to figure out a way to solve that. But
I can always,
I think they don't start until like the 20th of September, and there's a lot of preschool kids that, of course, the daycare issue and all that kind of stuff, and parents are wondering why, and I can't give them that answer, so.
The
Yeah.
other thing too, Head Start is looking for facilities. I actually sent them to each one of the schools to try and find space within a building because they can do 3 to 5 and have funding for it for Valley County. They just can't find facilities. It's like all the other daycares. So if you know somebody at the
Yeah.
school, Head Start is looking for space through YCAP.
They probably need just one room.
Yeah. They have 10 kids
And they-
enrolled right now. They would like to have 10 in each one of the communities, but
They pay for that space, right? So, okay. Well, let me do some
they
checking down
can,
here.
yeah.
We need to work on those kind of things because it's sure causing an issue with working parents, making it really tough.
yeah. I don't-
One more thing, just so it's in the back of your mind, as you guys might know, Teresa Perry got advanced to the regional director for Idaho Parks and Rec.
Oh, wow.
And she is not allowed to work in this office here, but she's looking for a desk and a place to kind of land. And we've been talking about maybe working with Picard's and putting her in your facility. It's not all confirmed yet. It's all pre-stuff right now, but she doesn't plan on being there very much, but she needs a place she can land and have a phone number and internet and all that kind of stuff. And so that may be coming down the road, but right now the ball's in her park to work out the details.
Yeah, and I would just encourage you all to look at the internet speeds before you put a lot of people in there.
I'm wondering if we don't go to the Elon Musk model and
Yeah.
just buy the,
Starlink.
go to Starlink. If the fiber is not in the ground where we can hook up something and,
We'll ask Jeremy when he comes up.
Yeah.
That'll be his first question.
Such a bother. I'm literally on the wrong side of the tracks, right?
Right.
Starlink would work though, because you guys have the northern sky, so. And I've heard amazing things up here about Starlink.
Hey, any more questions for Melissa? All right, thank you.
Thanks. See you on Zoom in the morning,
luck.
some of you.
Sounds good.
HR, Pat.
Good
Morning.
morning. I don't really have a lot to report, being gone the week before last and stuff, but on the recruiting front, the road and weed positions are full.
All of them?
Knock
Yeah.
on wood right now.
Yeah,
Yay.
the one that is going to do kind of the overlap for the person that's retiring, we have that one filled. We filled the other one, the new position is filled. So not counting Steve, there are now 4 people, or will be next week, 4 people in weeds to help him finish out the year. So that, phew, I think he'd probably use a couple more, but that really gets us past that. The position that is replacing the retiree or the soon-to-be retiree in the road department, that one in the summertime will move over to weeds. So there'll be 2 full-time people that will be weeds in the summer and road in the winter.
Very good.
Yeah, Jeff said that really what he needs is people to plow in the winter. And so he can afford to have that other position move over to weeds. So that is the plan for that one. The DMV position is now filled. So what I'm looking for currently is DMV, the part-time office specialist position in the sheriff's office, and dispatch. Detention, I'm unsure. There are 3 people that I believe are scheduled to be interviewed, and I've lost track of how many detention. We need 1 or 2. So,
Pat, the part-time clerk in the sheriff's office is going to full-time.
oh, it is?
Yeah,
We
that's in our
budgeted
budget.
for, if that's
budgeted.
the civil,
Oh, that's right. I saw that. Yeah, yeah.
So
Okay.
that will
might
be a full-time job.
That'll
yeah.
be helpful, yeah. So as soon as everything's scheduled and down, probably in about September, we'll bump that all up and repost it.
911, since you're having such a hard time with that, do we need any kind of motivation or incentive to try and get people in there?
I don't know, because there have been times when I've had several applicants apply, but then they fall out when they do the interview or the background. So part of the problem with the 911 that's twofold is one of them, when they start going through and having to answer the questions on the applications that have to do with background that you have to pass in order to be able to achieve your post certification, we lose them there. The other problem, again, is housing. What are we going to do with housing? So we could open up, one of our our house over there and say, well, that's open, but then it's sitting there vacant and nobody has access to it until we can get somebody here. So I'm not sure exactly what the problem is. I think that probably when summer is over, we'll get more applicants. I haven't looked this morning, but I did reconfigure the posting last week, trying to bump it up a little bit to see if we can get somebody. I've thought about paying for.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I thought about paying for another posting, but in talking to the implement specialist from NeoGov, he said that's usually not worth the money because, we have a lot of exposure with Indeed, which it goes to naturally, and then the government job. So we do have that exposure. I'm just at a loss.
Oh, I was just going to say, where are we for staffing up there right now?
I believe we're down 2. Patty, is it 2?
So,
We have 1 person in background.
I don't know if this is you or for the sheriff, but the dispatch folks have to be post-certified to do
Yes.
that job?
They were always certified in the past. We sent them to dispatch. Training. It just wasn't recognized.
It is now, okay. I was just thinking maybe we need to lighten our requirements a little bit, but if that's required, you gotta
Yeah,
have
that's
a
the
pretty good
issue.
background.
Can
Because
they
we
be
have had
trained?
people, we've have had people that, we did the background and stuff. But if there was an issue from a previous background that they didn't reveal information, we lost them because Post kicked them out. So we have to be careful at the very beginning that we are following all the Post requirements for background. Otherwise, we spend all that time and money and then they're gone because Post said we're not going to certify them.
You remember off the top of your head what the beginning hourly wage was for dispatch? I know we raised it, but I
We
can't.
did. So it's a two-tiered. It's 18 to start.
Okay.
So that's that training wage. And then it goes to,
22, 21?
no, it seems like when they're certified, and I'm going to get them mixed up because of we're in the switching, right? It seems like it's close to 19 once they're certified. It's higher than that with the new ranges, but I don't recall what it is.
The new ranges is 18 and 19 once
Yeah.
they're certified.
So it'll be 19 once they're certified.
And we could maybe bump that a little if that would help. If you think it would, I don't know.
I don't know because we raised the starting salary.
We did,
It was
a
at
lot.
$17.52, and I still don't have people. So I have been banging my head trying to figure out what to do to help them. But I think that what's going on is we're screening them out with those questions, and the posting is very specific too. It is a 24/7 position. People do have to pass that background screening.
I
So.
wonder if we worked with the criminal justice programs at U of I and Boise State, because
Can
that's a
try.
natural,
I know. CWI as well.
yeah.
The one thing that might get people, I don't know, but we're surrounded by states that where marijuana is legal. One of the questions is if you've used in the last year, again, a Post thing, then they can't be considered. So I had 2 applicants come in at the very beginning, and I had to deny them because they wouldn't have been able to pass Post.
We still have the deal going with Adams County for backup dispatchers. Is that still kind of online? No? Well, I guess we just keep trying.
That's all we
I
can
would
do.
say another month or so. If we haven't filled it, we need to look at the salary again.
Possibly. But I think it will help once we get into the new budget year and we can, even on the job posting, I said that the 18 is just a starting wage, that there will be a bump, but of course I don't say because it's so dependent, but there will be a bump when somebody starts. So I already put in the posting that this is just a training wage and it's not permanent. Once they're certified, it goes up. So I don't know how else to change it.
Do you know approximately how many folks out of the applicants that you have had have been local versus folks from other areas that were trying to move here?
Yeah, one of them I got, it would have been a good candidate, right? But I sent him an email and I said, have you looked at the housing? Do you know? And do you recognize the fact that you're going to have to move here, right? Never heard a word. So that happens too. I just try to help them do their research before, because we don't want to get into that process and then have no place for them to live. It helps having the employee housing because we have more flexibility now, which we didn't before. The other, so the 2 that couldn't pass, I don't remember whether they were local or whether they had been Ada County. Most of them are, really from out of town. A lot of them are just from the valley. And that's not a bad thing because sometimes they have family homes and stuff up here
Right.
that have been, they're vacation homes where they have a place to live. So that has been helpful. So,
they have to pass background.
I was just thinking from like an outreach standpoint, you've done a great job reaching out to like the regional. Maybe we try to focus a little bit more on the Valley County side. I don't know if we could do some stuff, with Star, our ads that we're going to be running the Star on a regular basis, and then, social media at Blitz, just talking about the benefit package alone.
Yeah,
I
I've
mean,
done
the
the
wage is
social-
not
Yep.
a really big carrot in itself, but the wage plus the benefits package is pretty competitive.
I have been posting, or at least doing posts at Facebook. I don't like posting there because people apply and then they don't apply. I mean, you can't see anything. And then I'll reach out to them and say, you need to go apply through government jobs, and never see them again. So
I was going to say, we are going to be running did we decide twice a month with McKinsey? Yeah. A quarter page in the Star News. Maybe we have like open positions, and
we could try that.
we're going to have room to put highlights in there. So maybe you could put a highlight on like what it means to work for Valley County.
Yeah, we could do things like that. Yeah. Yeah. Star News, and even in talking with Ivana at Shore Lodge, you just don't get anything. But we certainly can try. I mean, I'm all open for anything. So I'll work with Mackenzie on that. But I like your idea about, I always talk about great benefits. I think I'll do the hidden paycheck and do that as a posting on Facebook, just for that particular position. So I think that will help as well.
Matt, if you get a chance, not something you'll do right away, but years ago, SIPA and the Forest Service combined into a regional dispatch center there in McCall. And you might want to give those guys a jingle at Forest Service to see what those starting salaries are, if we're even comparable, because it seems to me like they were somewhere around 23 or 25. And it may be just a salary issue, I don't know. But it'd be kind of nice to know. I think they have 6 dispatchers up there. Just an idea.
When I did all the salary surveys, I looked as well.
We'll bump a little above it and then.
Yeah.
Well, we've been doing that. in the
So when I did the
hospital.
survey, I bumped them a little bit then, but we're not totally off. That's the interesting thing, is we're not totally out of whack with our salary, and we weren't. But they
On the
did get
housing
bumped some.
front,
What's that?
on the housing front, I'll update these guys this afternoon on the EDC. There's a brand new housing initiative that's very intriguing and interesting,
Huh?
and actually might give us some additional housing units.
Anything. It's
Hey,
just
anything
hard.
else?
No, I think that's it.
All right, we'll stay
Taking more than my
healthy.
5
and-
minutes.
And we need to talk about masks again here in a month or so, or a week or so. Let us know.
Masks.
I'm have a meeting the 20th for the health district, and Ada County's already put mask mandates back in their courthouse.
And I noticed, I did look up at the CDC as far as masks go, and they are recommending to wear a mask inside even for vaccinated people, just because the Delta variant is so contagious. And what I'm assuming that they're thinking the research might be showing that vaccinated people could be carrying it. I don't know. But what they're saying is inside, everybody should be wearing a mask again. And I think that's probably why Ada County Courthouse did it.
Apparently, the Supreme Court feels the same way.
I saw when Ada County had decided to do the mask mandate, I knew that Supreme Court would follow because they're so close together.
It's a political hot button right now, but it'll work itself out. So
It has been for over a year.
it's getting hotter.
I know,
18 months.
it's just crazy. Yeah.
Okay,
All right, thanks.
thank you. Jeremy. Morning.
Morning, Commissioners, Chairman. I didn't have a whole lot, but
Now you do.
now we have a couple things. We're finalizing the people's comments from the website to get that rolled out, and the 911 stuff after those signatures from the last couple of weeks. Starting to reach out to folks to get some of that stuff rolling out and going. So that's kind of our two main focuses right now.
Jeremy, what do you think on the website? How long do you think? A couple weeks or a couple months or
It'll be weeks.
weeks? Okay.
Yep.
Perfect.
So.
Okay.
That phone, I'm pretty sure that's because somebody left a voice message on it, a voicemail message,
Good
which I
to know.
I finally figured out. but I have no idea what the pin is to get into it. So I'm going to reach out to the vendor that manages those and get that, and I'll get that, that noise cleared up.
It keeps me awake when
It's
I'm
not
here
taped
on
on the bottom, is
Wednesdays.
No, don't see it.
It wakes me up.
It's a dinghy.
So the U of I, that new circuit is supposed to be 45/10, and if it's not, then we need to have it looked at. It was the day they installed it. I did test it.
You have a way of testing it?
Melissa
Yeah,
tested
just the one of those
On the,
like speedtest.net or whatever
on
on
your
the
phone,
internet. Yeah.
Melissa
Maybe-
was getting very low numbers when she did it. a
they
week
pay
ago.
you to go down and do it again and give Ziply a call, and
Yeah, for sure.
we need to fix that.
Yeah. And so our options are Ziply can give us a dedicated circuit, but as I mentioned, when we upgraded to the faster speed, they would have to, they have fiber on that street, but they would have to bring it over to the house or to the building. So that would be an improvement. So that would have to obviously be worked out between us and the owners, whether they wanted to do that. If you recall, we tried to do that little microwave shot over to the road department,
Right.
and they didn't want to
Didn't
do
want
that.
Anything nailed to the building.
Yeah, and it was quite a bit more expensive. It was like $300 or $400 a month for that.
Or the one with the antenna or the wire?
No, for the dedicated service through Ziply.
So if you could find, maybe get just a quick quote from Ziply on what it would cost to put a wire all the way over there, I'll get a hold of Mark and see if we can't maybe split that cost or
Okay.
get his feeling on that. They're really great people to deal with, and
Okay.
and
Even
You're right.
45/10 isn't really enough to
Yeah.
hold numerous Zoom meetings and, you know, I mean, we have to have a better solution than
Right.
45/10. If Ziply can't do it, I think we'd research either other vendors or, you know, go to Starlink. or
Unfortunately, in our
something.
research, Ziply's the only company that actually has physical infrastructure on that road. Anybody else would have to get across the tracks. We've talked with Cable One, and it's for them. I mean, if you pay a company enough, they'll do it. But
sure.
the amount to do it, they weren't willing to do it, to deal with the right of way and working with the railroad company, getting across the tracks and all that.
So just
and-
let Ziply know we'll go with Starlink if they don't want to help.
So that is another option. I actually have Starlink in my house, and it's actually not terrible. It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good up here.
And that's a satellite-based signal.
Yes. Yeah, it's that Elon Musk deal.
Yep. What does that usually run a month, if you mind me asking?
It's $99 a month.
It's $500
$89?
for the initial.
You know, the dish is, you have to pay $500 for the dish, and then it's $99 a month.
I'm hearing most people are getting 100 over, you know, something that's enough
Good to
low
know.
speed that's good. Yeah. All you got to have is view of the northern sky, I think. And he actually just launched, so he's going to be all the way around the earth. I
Yeah,
mean,
there's
that's
pretty good-
going to be a solution shortly.
There's pretty good coverage here. I got it in the middle of winter, and I just, because of the snow, I couldn't get it on my roof, so it was just out in my driveway. And even then, it was good. It would cut in and out, but in the spring, as soon as I got it up on my roof, I haven't had a service outage in months.
Tell that sticky snow,
Yeah.
that gets it every time.
Actually,
It's supposed to have
they're
a coating
guaran-
that,
yeah,
that
they're
melts it off and keeps
So
it
is that,
clear.
pretty
yeah.
much guaranteeing it won't hold, so.
Anything else?
Nope, that's all I got.
All right, we got to move on.
All right.
Jeremy,
Thank
you're
you.
okay with all of the software we have in the budget, correct?
Yes.
We're finalizing budget today, so you don't want to add anything, nothing has come up in the meantime.
No, it hasn't.
Okay.
All righty, thanks, Jeremy. Cinda, good morning.
Good morning. So just a reminder that we have the work session August 19th, 6 PM, this room, Planning and Zoning Commission, Board of County Commissioners.
Are you buying pizza?
Huh? No. No.
Just thought I'd ask.
I do need your lists. I received Sherry's list concerning topics you might want to speak about, just to get you thinking. Scenic byways, ag overlays, size of parcels, instead of the 20 acres, 40 acres. What road improvements should be required when subdividing property, trail pathway corridors, When should we identify some areas within the county for specific uses or zoning? So, just what topics have you been wanting to talk to the planning and zoning commissioners about?
I think you listed all the ones I was concerned about, I was gonna talk about. Do we need to set a standard on a certain size subdivision that one of those lots has gotta be deed restricted for housing?
Can't do that.
Why can't we do that?
We did that before,
Legal.
and it got overturned in court.
Oh, we lost that one?
Remember, we had to give everybody their money back, that inclusionary thing,
Oh, yeah, I forgot about
had
that.
to redeed those properties back.
Yeah. Okay, that was all I
Good
had.
thought, but
Yeah.
I'm more interested in road connectivity and all that stuff. That's, to me, is the big issue. And when we talked here a while back about maybe putting a line on the actual final plat for the road superintendent to sign. And I don't know if that's an idea or not, but we need to
I
get
don't think that's a good idea.
we need to
but
get the
we
road
can talk about
department involved in these subdivisions.
He needs to get involved in the beginning of it, like we used to do, where you write a letter and we put it into the staff report and says, this is what the road department is recommending.
And is
Or
it
this is
because
what-
he's not getting the notice of,
He gets the notices.
he gets the notice? So we have a breakdown there that we gotta work on.
But probably the first thing to do is for the board to decide what they're going to require subdivisions do, and then he can because it's not up to him to make it up. It's up for him to relay what you want to the Planning and Zoning Commission.
And then is Tamarack gonna be at this as well?
Yes,
And they are before or after us?
they are before the planning, they are giving a presentation to the P and Z Commission and the Board of County Commissioners. The first topic will be Tamarack.
Okay.
are they given a time limit? I mean, this is our
I told them
one
50.
shot that,
Right.
we have to speak with P and Z, and I really don't want to take a ton of time with Tamara.
They're going to take a ton of time, 15, 20 minutes.
Just an update. It's just an update, you said?
Yeah, I told him, really no discussion, no negotiations, just, letting the Planning and Zoning Commission, the board know what they're up to for, in the short term.
Good. But we don't need anybody biased before they get the permit.
Well, you're right. They have the permit, they're just complying with the permit.
Hey, anything else?
That conversation did come up in a meeting that I was at the other day, and about input on Tamarack CUP, and I said they already have their CUP.
Yes, they do.
So that's not where we will have input. The road advisory committee was questioning that. So we do need to talk about where we will have input with the Tamarack expansion,
But with the expansion, that will be a new CUP
okay?
if they expand.
Is it a CUP or plan unit development?
Well, the planned unit development is like just the concept approval. The CUP is actual approval.
Actual on-ground stuff?
Right.
Okay.
So it would be interesting, Cinda, during that meeting, if you would give us some kind of direction on, they're updating us on what they're doing, okay? So however many units, but what can we impact at this moment? Or can we? Because the question came from the road advisory group is the roads out there need some work on them. And so they want to know what input we have. So if you would let us know at that meeting, that would be a good conversation to have.
Sure. I know in previous years before the 2008, they had a cooperative agreement with the Board of County Commissioners where they could plow it more times each day. But it wasn't a requirement, they just
That's more of
wanted-
like a maintenance issue, and I think like what Sherry's getting at is like our question about what level of road do we need to access with that many people driving in and out?
Right. That's why the capital improvement program was such a good thing, was because they're not the only ones using that road. I mean, there's probably twice as many lots as Tamarack has that's already out there.
And I understand that, but we don't have the CIP program. So in our current environment, what can we do? What can we not do? So that at least I have good information to give our road advisory group.
That's that little legislative piece where we can require development agreements. We do have a development agreement with them. They did do their improvements as required and participated in that.
At that time, based on the level of what they
Right.
had planned, but they're,
Anything new,
that's what I was gonna say is, I mean, their build out now is talking about up to 10,000 people a day at the resort.
and then that would be, if they expand, anything new, we could do another development agreement.
But I'm hearing 300 local housing units, right?
600
600 local housing units.
that were approved as part of the original CUP PUD. A lot of those will be the J1s who won't even have vehicles.
Okay.
And they'll have pathways where they will be walking internally and buses to provide them access off-site. I've asked them to speak to that
That would be, yeah, that's the information we need.
because all those employees aren't going to have cars. And it's a maximum of 600 units. Charter school. There's some interesting things.
Perfect.
I think we need to look at like
Urgent
expanded
care.
day use parking as well, as we're looking at like what's the increase in day use gonna be on our roads? I mean, to me, the homeowners and the people who are living there or staying there are not gonna be adding a lot of traffic to that road. It's the people who are coming and going on a daily basis. They're seeing on average, like, maybe 1,200 people on a busy Saturday out there versus, like I said, their expansion plan calls for up to 10,000 visitors per day.
As part of their expansion plan, we will have to do some sort of an agreement. And I have spoken to them, well, a couple of them about that. And they do have some plans, but it's not part of what's currently approved.
And I think they have some plans for the backside in Adams County too, don't they?
I haven't heard that one in 20 years.
There's nothing on their
Well, that
Forest Service proposal that goes over the top.
Oh, expansion on the backside?
On the backside.
I haven't talked to anybody about that.
Well, that might be a question we'll talk about on the 19th, to see kind of what the future is after this one.
Right, I don't know if they're going to get into their long-range plans. They're doing they might do a little bit on long-range plans. And I hesitate to talk about their long-range plans when we don't have an application.
Right, right.
So what we want to talk about is the current approvals and how they're complying with what's already required, which is the employee housing.
Can you send us their PUD, what was approved in their CUP, so we actually can look at that and have knowledge prior to that meeting? Or is it a book?
Well,
that's
it's huge binders.
Okay, well, we don't have any idea of what was approved and what wasn't
I have
approved, so.
a cheat sheet, and they'll be presenting that. I mean, we have documentation of those, numbers, how many units were approved, how many do you have, how many employee housing units, how many parking stalls were you supposed to have, that type of thing. We have those graphs.
Be great if we can get that.
Yes, we will have that.
Okay.
Okay, anything else?
But we're just working
Good,
along.
working.
Yes.
All righty, thank you.
Huh?
Next victim is Larry.
Ah, it's so nice to be here. What a great weekend though, huh? Nice and cool in the morning.
Fabulous.
Went for a long ride in the afternoon up by the Burnt Wagon and it was awesome. But the grass is like this tall up there and I don't know, but it was awesome.
Need some cows.
Yeah, they really do. There isn't much grazing going on up there this year. We're still pretty much going right along with all our maintenance and everything looks pretty good. I did talk to OK Gravel about, remember they were putting together the budget on our new campground over here at Clear Creek. And the gentleman that was working on it, his wife had twins. And one of the twins, they had to go to San Francisco. One of the twins had heart surgery. So it's going to be another couple of weeks before we have that done. I did listen to the seminar on outdoor travel, recreation for the Great American Outdoors Act, and I got excited enough, especially when in the middle of it, the guy was talking about grants and how they don't necessarily have to have a match. So I got a hold of the gal that is doing that for the state of Idaho. And I asked her about a groomer for Worm Lake. Yellow pine, explained to her, what yellow pine used to be and how it'd be used to help save that economy over there during the winter. Her comment back to me was she loves everything about yellow pine. So I'll talk to Mary and we'll start working on that. And we'll try to do that as a non-match piece of equipment. It was $240-some thousand, and she didn't seem to budget that since they evidently have $3 billion or some crazy number like that. And then I think Dave and I talked a little bit about this. It seems like we might want to have our road department just ask for anything that we use back there to keep yellow pine open, anything to help develop that area. But we might all they can say is no if we put in an application. So I did some research this last week and spent a lot of time this weekend on RS-2477 and found some pretty good documentation. That's not quite true. I found the results of a lot of documentation. Our IT department did a great job of scanning the computers at the road department. They sent me all those files because they're so big you can't send them. They had to take them and put them on. And I went through a lot of that. Some of the stuff I gave to Professor Oki because there's so much legalese in it. He was not. I handed it to him and he just gave me one of those looks. Really, the exciting part of what I got out of reading that stuff was, especially because of course one of our big concerns is Anderson Creek, and when their attorneys were there, they said we own both sides of the road and the road. Well, that is true. They do. If you look at it like that. But it also says there is a Supreme Court decision. They may own that, but they don't own the road. The road is owned by the county, and the county actually can never give up that right. Even if they choose not to do maintenance on a road that they own, they can never give it up, which is kind of interesting to me. And some of this documentation actually came from one of the district rangers, local district rangers. So I think you guys will like that.
So Larry, you just said two different things, so you just confused me. You said they own the road, and then you said that they can't.
They own the dirt underneath.
We have an easement.
The road, our easement belongs to the county.
Okay.
Yeah.
Larry, is that all PDF available? Is that all electronic?
Yes, everything I found so far is electronic. I haven't been upstairs in the road department. I guess that's not,
And I think that there's some good information up there. It's more organized than people are giving it credit. Because I know years back, Lori and some of those that worked there went through a lot of that stuff.
Wow.
Organized. So it's not as scary as it sounds like up there. But if you can, maybe forward some of that electronic on the RS-24 to us.
Yes, I will. I just sent some to Cinda just to see how far I had to break it down before it would allow me to send it, and it came out pretty good. Some of this stuff is I'm finding an awful lot of interest because like the stuff I just gave to Oki, it's some of the documentation from the Oregon territories. Some of it's from when it was the Idaho forest before there was a Payette or a Boise, and it's just that's the type of historic stuff that kind of fascinates me. This is a document I pulled off of there, and I'm not sure how to understand it quite yet. I did not underline this. This was underlined by somebody else.
Is that the list of what we have?
This is a list of, according to this, it's FERDA RS-2477 with a question mark. So I'm thinking everything on here has been, we've declared RS-2477, and the yellow stuff is what we've gotten an answer on
From the Forest Service.
from the Forest Service.
Good job on asking IT to scan that. That was smart.
Oh, I went over
How
to
far did they
talk
go
to
back?
Nikki, and we looked at it, and the file was huge. It was just a monster file, so there was no way she could transfer it.
So the yellow is stuff that we are, tell me
I'm
again?
hoping that the yellow is stuff that we've actually asked for an RS-2477 on. I'm not positive, and the reason I'm hoping for that is that if you look at it, Old Cabarton Road is listed on there. And by the way, one document that I read also was talking about RS-2477 on private ground. That is appropriate. So whether it's Wilkes or somebody else, yes, we can own that road through there.
It doesn't say,
Probably can, but probably do.
Yeah, well, we really do, and we never really give it up. That's the interesting part, even if we don't do the maintenance on it.
So the question that comes to mind is some of the actual FERDA types are also highlighted. So if that's saying that those are already FERDA.
Well, as I understand
that
it,
means.
Further requests and they haven't been processed yet.
Got it.
well,
Some of those are things we do not.
when Bill Willie and Gordon were here, I remember that discussion pretty well. A lot of times what happened is we will ask, we would declare an RS-2477, the Forest Service, and in that documentation, I think there's a letter on one. They'll come back and say, rather than going through that, because they don't want to adjudicate it, they'll offer it as a FERDA.
yeah, the McCray mine, we pushed on that one, I don't know what, 5 or 6 years ago, and that was a FERDA road. It's not even listed as a FERDA, but that's how we got that road back. I'm trying to think of another one that we did.
Well, I remember Stoley Meadows Road and 3 Mile Road.
Yeah.
Dolly, can you?
Anyway, we can go over these. I just wanted to give you guys that information. And the other one I wanted to, just for information, is I heard from somebody that the Scotts Corral Road on the backside, Micah Saddle, has been completely obliterated. And that is a Forest Service road, and it, I don't know, I'm going to talk, I'm going to go look at it. It's a long drive back.
What's the name of that
remember.
road? Scott's what?
Scotts Corral. So if you came up from the Donley side towards Micah Saddle, once you get to the very top, there's that road that goes to the left and then goes up towards 44. It's right there. It's actually it was a good road. It went back in, there was a big corral back there. And I talked to, because that's one of the ones we've asked to exchange some low-level grooming roads that we don't get to groom them much because there's not enough snow, to a higher elevation. We wanted to exchange miles, which is appropriate. And then I was told that road's been completely obliterated. But I've heard that before. I want to go look. Commissioner Bingham and I had a meeting Friday with IDL, and I thought that was a really good meeting. And the one main thing for me that came out of it, other than information, was that we've asked them to include summer camping on the parking lots down there, the Brush Creek and Francie Wallace, because I just took for granted that since it's a year-round lease, we could do that. Well, we couldn't, so they're going to include that. He's going to change that. We got it in time.
Great, that's good, because that's gonna be a big thing out there in the summer.
Yeah, that was
There were eight vehicles on Saturday in the Brush Creek lot.
I kind of kick myself for not thinking through public sector and private sector are so different. You just really got to cross your I's and dot your T's, right?
So did they say how much longer it would take by chance? No?
No, and I've done everything. I've called everybody I know to put pressure on the AG's office, and
What do you think the holdup is? I mean, do they have?
so it's not our stuff. It's actually, I'm trying to remember what they call it. So they have a lease that all the leases have to look alike. It's that basic form that they haven't finished yet. It's not all the addendums, all the attachments that we have. It's that basic form that isn't done.
We're doing the template for all of.
The template, yeah.
For all the statewide leases.
Yeah.
And that's what's holding our lease up, even though it was essentially finished.
And part of that discussion is where they have discussed with us the possibility of taking over all of their leases eventually. I guess they're doing that in some other areas.
County takes over, does that include grazing and all that stuff?
No, it wouldn't. I don't know. It could be grazing. I don't know. They talked about the horseback area, the canoeing area, all that stuff. But,
Okay.
yeah.
More recreational leases.
Yeah, I think it's recreational leases more than anything else, yeah.
That'd be awesome.
I don't know. Maybe for you. I don't know.
Well,
Yeah,
the
it
question is,
probably would.
They're still getting the percentage of income or revenue
They're
on
still
those
gonna- yes.
outfitting opportunities.
Yes.
Why would they farm them out to us for administrative?
Yes.
That doesn't make sense. Because they're still collecting all the revenue. IDL.
Well, we would want to collect a portion of that.
Possibly.
Anyway, that's what I got.
Okay.
Questions?
Anything else? I guess that's it.
Oh, one other thing. You guys are
Yes,
going to
ma'am.
discuss the no business signing the winter maintenance this afternoon. I'd appreciate if you'd put that off for at least a week so that we can have that discussion at the advisory board on Thursday.
Do those guys have a copy of that lease that we got?
Yes, they do.
So I don't need to forward that to Ron or
Nope.
anything?
Yep,
That's probably what'll happen is we'll table that till next week.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay.
Larry, I did see on the agenda for that meeting too, you've got training on it, on your snowmobile. Do you have some kind of a checklist that you're gonna
Yeah,
have them
that-
approve
that-
or what? What are you
So
doing
what we're
there?
discussing now is, we do have a whole bunch of checklists and at what level we want to be. The most important ones, of course, at this point is safety and maintenance. And we're going to put different people in charge of those little seminars that we're going to have with them. I've already talked to Colin, and I think they're going to be able to supply a certified sawyer to do the chainsaw one. Ray Cooper, who's our maintenance guy, to do a maintenance one. And then, of course, Ray will also do protocol and radios. And trying to get somebody up from Peterson's to do some. And it's going to be a fun day to be had by all once we get it all going. That's one of our discussions this Thursday.
And then at the end of that day, you'll have all your groomers sign off that they went through that training. Or is that what?
Yeah, once we get to that point, yeah. Yeah, we'll have forms, we'll do exactly like we do with our vehicle maintenance policy at the county. We'll have what was discussed and have them check off those issues that were discussed, and then they'll sign it. And then we'll have a different form for each application of it.
Larry, are you gonna have any training on the inReach? 'Cause I think
Yes,
that was-
absolutely.
That was kind of.
And guess who's going to do the inReach training? Rich.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
Mr.
he's-
IT.
Yeah, talk about a professor.
Yeah, he's very good at that stuff.
Yeah.
That's great because I think that's really gonna pay off down the road.
Oh
that
my
inReach.
gosh! For me, last winter, when I got a call from dispatch, they'd tell me so and so didn't check in. I could get on. I could automatically. I just pulled up on my computer, and if it's still moving, I know they're fine. If it's parked in the shed, they went home and forgot to call in and check out. So, yeah, it's been.
That seems to be an issue with those guys. They get home and jump in the truck and drive home and forget to call dispatch, tell them that
Yeah.
they're back. It's just
Yeah.
something that they don't do. But after 8 hours, I think.
That definitely will be quite a part of the discussion. It's always the same people, in case you haven't noticed. So,
Get them a sticky note for their forehead,
yeah.
their rear view mirror.
Yeah, and we do have, I think I told you last week or 2 weeks ago, we do have our new groomer on order. We've finally got all the specifications and they're pushing it through to the state now. As long as state purchasing holds strong this time, we'll be in good shape.
Larry, I just need to know your thinking about groomer back to Yellow Pine. If Midas or Perpetua ends up using Johnson Creek as the main interest, what's your plan going to be then?
So at this point, we've got the Cabin Creek Trail. And
Okay.
we have scouted that. We've asked for 2 bridges and they've agreed on that. It's in their plans. And with the new towers, one cable, before they had to move like 4 cables to get us up underneath there. There's just one that they've got to change a little bit. We can make it back there. We're going to have, some of it will be shared use. Now going from there to, oh my gosh, where'd my mind go? Going up there to the top where we go across by the airport. That's easy. That's an easy one. In fact, Jake told me we can cut our own trail through because it's all burned dead. So we can cut our own trail through there. There's only one bridge that we're going to have shared use on. And we're going to have to sign the daylights out of that if the mine ever goes.
So you would come out there just south of Yellow Pine, about where they put that helipad, somewhere in there? Where do you come out?
Farther up than that, right at the top of Cabin Creek and Johnson Creek. There's a big park there. There's a campground.
I'm gonna have to get a map. I'll have to get a map.
You ought to go out and bring your razor out and go for a
I
ride
could
with
do
us.
that if I could get time, but
I know it's a beautiful ride. It really is. It's really nice. I really want to groom, as you guys know. I want to groom start grooming into Yellow Pine. I think that's extremely important. There was a time when Yellow Pine had 100 sleds parked there. Everything was open, and now everything's closed, and there's nobody in there, and that just
well, the fun thing is to go on up into Big Creek and over Elk Creek and up to Warren.
Yes.
That's a big giant loop ride, and they loved it.
Yeah.
Well,
And
so-
this year would be a little bit tough, but next year with the increase in the registration fees, we're expecting a certain amount of extra funds so that we can do a lot more grooming. So I'd love to support that community. They've taken a lot of hits.
That's the latest place to buy ground.
Oh, great.
There, we
Always up
talked,
there.
Here I am, too late again.
I gave your name out to the road advisory group also, because we were talking about, I had dinner with the governor and I was asking him, how do we implement more sticker fees now on the motorized sports, summer sports, the snow, So the snowmobiling group got an increase in fees for grooming. If we went after the trail riders, in the summertime, how do you increase their sticker fees, bike fees, and enforcement of those to take care of some of the summer trails?
So we have had that conversation in the Recreation Council, and I've with the president of the ATV Association. It's amazing how inexpensive it is to ride during the summer bikes or whatever. It's cheap. It really is. But what we haven't seen is the results of the out-of-state tag sales. Because remember last year, even though they had to have out-of-state tag sales, they didn't ask them to because of COVID, and they didn't have, IDPR actually didn't have a way to receive those funds. Well, this year it's all set up. So it'll be interesting to see how much more money comes in. And remember, none of that money goes back to the counties other than the sheriff gets a little bit, IDL gets a little bit, and the rest of it funds all of our trail crews, which, by the way, I've asked for a trail crew to come in the end of next week and the first of the following week to help us on Coppet Creek and some other areas. And we're going to have them for 3 to 4 days brushing a whole lot up there. So, but yeah, it's going to be, it's time. I think we're going to have that conversation probably this fall.
I've given your name out. Paul Hefner
Yeah.
will probably be
Very,
reaching
very
out.
difficult, as you guys know, to get any fee increases on anything through legislation.
Unless they want it.
I want to get tickets to get this past one done. It was 6,
We
7
started
years.
that probably 4 years ago.
It was discussed probably as far back as like 2012, 2013.
You know, we
Just,
almost made it a couple years ago, and I would say to some extent it was the user's fault it didn't pass because we were asked by a couple legislators, don't send us all the emails. We're all good. And then we didn't send a lot of emails and make a lot of comment, and then it didn't pass because we were told nobody made comment or sent emails. This time we didn't wait. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think the user fee conversation is a good conversation because
I do
it's
too.
those
That's-
using the trails that are going to
Absolutely. Anybody that's using anything on public should pay for their way, and be proud of it.
And I think it'd be easier now because we've got it done with the snowmobiles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty easy to sell it now.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Oh, can we
I
take a
think
short
anything
break?
right now.
Cool beans. Have a great day. I'll see you guys this afternoon for that discussion with,
On the budget.
Biden.
Okay.
Take a short break.
Yeah, we gotta wait for Gabby to come back, so a couple, 3 minutes, and then when she gets back, we'll do you. There we go. No, I cut all day Saturday, 8 hours, got all of it cut.
Field on both sides of the road.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's about half what I got last year. But there's places out there now, the grasshoppers are bedding up. They're tail and drilling holes in the ground by the thousands. Just amazing. And you drive through it, they don't fly. They can't fly because they're all in the middle of mating, and it's just, it's amazing. The stuff that's come back, it got about this high, and now it's all this square along the top where they're eating it down. All that new grass. I think the cow guys are going to be in pretty bad shape here by September. I don't know. There's a lot of cattle going to have to go somewhere else here pretty quick. It's through the state. And they actually came in and sprayed with a crop duster quite a bit, but the chemical they use is called chloroprinol. And California and Washington just banned it because it does cause birth defects. Anything that'll kill a bug will kill you. So a lot of people are scared of it. But it was 34, 35 degrees last night, and that's really going to shake them down. Our Dave said he had 32 degrees, and that's what we need is a frost or two. No, and probably not enough to kill the grasshoppers. Oh, they were so bad one year, they ate all the pine needles off the bottom of our trees in my yard.
Holy cow.
And you open the door and they come in 50, 60 at a time. You have to chase them off from your door before you even go in your house. Yeah, you get holes in your lettuce and holes in your beets, and they get in there. Okay, we're going to move on down our agenda. Our next one is buildings and grounds. Scott, good morning.
Good morning. So let's see, where we want to start.
How about we start with the fair?
What's going on there?
How's that going?
Fine, as far as I know right now.
Are they sending you bills for repairs and all that stuff, or how's that working?
They've, used the account at, the hardware store and stuff, and things. So, I have some from that. So far, that's about it. I think, Allison charged some hinges, $60, $70 worth or something there just a week ago. But so far, I haven't had anything sent to me. I don't know what they want to do about the fence. No one's contacted me about we've got the snow fence in the post, but I don't know when they want that up, just prior to the rodeo, or if they want it up now. But I really have I don't even know the names of the people on the fair board. And
Carl Barrett. Carl Barrett.
Mm-hmm.
He's the president. I could give you his number.
Okay.
I think you might want to make contact with him because
Olson.
315
okay.
5332. Let me get my eyes on here. Yeah, 5332. Give him a call and he's pretty reasonable to deal with. Toby Olson, who kind of runs the rodeo part of it, might be another contact. You want that number?
Public record.
I think I have it, but if you've got it, I'll take it.
634-9229.
I'm not sure we should be sharing people's phone numbers on public record. I said, I think we probably pass that along to Scott later. I'm not sure if we should be putting people's phone numbers out on the public record.
Well, it's Toby's work phone too, but that's all right.
Okay. So, yeah, I mean, we've did what we could do at, as far as this point. I don't know what we want to do next year. If you get into budgets, if you want to put money into buildings and grounds, so we have money to go down there and plan. This kind of took me by surprise, the stuff down there and things. But like I say, we got all the gate materials there for them, and did kind of what we could get. But if buildings and grounds is going to take on more, I'm talking to Scott. He said historically they've not really done much other than take care of the water and the bathroom down there. But if we're going to have a bigger role, need to have some money put in the budget so we can plan and do something with it down there. If they
Well, and
want
I
our
think
help.
if we can track the expenses this year to the fair and kind of give us a rough idea about what it's going to take every year.
Yeah.
But I think we're coming to that direction. The same thing is happening with all the snowmobile grooming sheds is the clubs used to maintain them and paint them. And they've all kind of backed away from that and turned that back over to buildings and grounds too, as you know.
Yeah, we
So-
haven't gone out and done anything on any of those buildings yet. I think I got a bill from Franklin or something sent to me, or a couple of them that actually were for the Parks and Rec, I think for maintenance or repair on one of the buildings or something, but, we got it, sent to Larry for his, to put the claim in.
Good, good. So he
But
can
we
track
haven't been
that.
asked to work on anything on any of those yet, but if it is,
So Scott, anything at the fairgrounds, so that is a change.
What's
So
that?
Scott did not used to take care of anything.
Yeah.
So we have engaged, those are Valley County buildings. So we do need to look at that. We put
Okay.
a little bit extra in their budget next year and asked for a list of what they wanted.
Yeah.
So some of it was new tables, some of it was new, like radios, but those are not fixed assets. If it's a
Yeah.
fixed asset, you need to put money in your budget.
Okay.
I thought we had.
Okay, and
So-
in our discussions I had with Doug
That's
and
cash carry.
stuff, and I didn't discuss anything for the fairgrounds when we were working on the budget this year, so I don't know
And we need to.
if you guys, before we finalize it, if you want to put money in there dedicated just for that. I don't know about equipment, they want to borrow, or they have, we've lent them our pressure washer and weed eater. I don't know if they need to purchase their own stuff, so they have it there, or we want to continue lending buildings and grounds equipment to them. They did want to use the skid steer, and I told them no, because I don't know who's going to be running it, with it being a piece of county. I don't, we have Mitch, and I know when Jeff or they use it, they have people that are qualified. I don't want them just sticking somebody in there and they're running into buildings or hurt somebody.
And they have a tractor.
Well, that's what we told them. They said, well, it can't get into tight spaces, but
That's what
it's a really nice tractor.
That's what the shovels are for.
Yeah, and one of it was because I guess they have a fork attachment for it, and like I say, down the road, if we can start planning as soon as this rodeo's over, if we can get the information, if we still got time before the weather gets back, we can start on some of the stuff now, and then we're ahead of the game, or we can plan for when spring comes to get on them right away and see if we
Well, I
can
think we'll look at it in the budget today, you'll see what we have for
Okay.
fair, maybe we'll bump that in your budget just for the fairgrounds improvements. And
Yeah.
I feel like we need new bathrooms down there, a whole
Yeah.
new facility.
Yeah.
And
That's
Brian
something we just-
Hines sent me a picture of the new latest, greatest, these concrete vaulted toilets that the Forest Service uses. They have
Yep.
showers in them. And I think we need to go that direction. And I think we probably get a grant to do some of that, but.
Yeah. Yeah, because we kind of kick that around if we just want to take it down and bring in something like they have on the large fires, just a mobile unit that sits there and then it's gone. We don't have to worry about winterizing it. We just need to have a water supply and maybe a sewer connection for them if they're not self-contained.
Well,
Yeah,
I think.
look at some options, yeah.
I think we need to do something more permanent because we're going to get a lot more use of that arena in the summer. The UTV, ATV group that's coming here at the end of August is going to use that for the UTV rodeo thing that they've been talking about. They're going to need those bathrooms as well. So I think we
Okay.
need to look at
Okay.
something that's more permanently structured and
So
just a
Scott,
better facility.
what would be a recommendation from you? I
What?
mean, you've seen their list. I'm looking at their list. These are small things. These are not really expensive
Yeah.
things. But if we do a new bathroom, that's something we've got to look at.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how much, you've been down there, but
I've been down there. I mean, to me, the rodeo grounds, other than the covered stands, it looks in pretty disrepair. I mean,
Yes.
Absolutely.
So I don't know how far we want to pursue. Toby wants to reconfigure the rope and chutes and catch pins and everything else, which is going to probably.
We just did a lot of that.
I know, and I don't quite see what the need of it is for, but that was on his wish list. Is we basically go kitty corner, swap the rope and arena, the rope and chutes, put them where the catch pins are, bring the catch pins down to the northeast corner. They want to take the fence on the west side on each end of the cupboard and change the fence so they can put additional seating so you can see through the fence. or something, or above it, to add additional, we did fix the loading chute. I mean, if we want, if he wants, or we want to budget, is purchase, a mobile one that'd be handier for him. We've got to sit down and see what is a want and what is a need. And
I think we need a 5-year strategic plan for that whole area so that we can put so much in the budget every year to do some
That's
of
what I
these
was
things.
thinking too, is we just start prioritizing a couple of those things a year.
Yeah.
Right, agreed.
yeah,
And the extra seating, I don't know if it's 25,000 or if it's 50,000, but in
Yeah.
order to make the rodeo profitable, we have to be able to put more people in seats.
yeah,
Because right now, it's basically a wash because you can only put so many people in those rodeo arena. So, I mean, that's kind of a high priority because that actually might make it profitable enough to start being able to reinvest in some of
Yeah.
this stuff. But those are our facilities, and the health and safety of people that are visiting the fair need to be taken into account. So
Yeah.
whether it's 25,000, 50,000, per year for the next 5 years.
yeah. Have to see, see if I can get the information on those new or bathrooms.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to forward a text. I got one from Brian Hines when he was the president last year. It's called the CXT. I don't know how to forward a text, but if you guys want to look at the picture.
Scott, I got it up. I can send you the link. I've got it up on.
So if
Okay,
you-
yeah.
Yeah.
So we can get an idea what it's going to cost,
hold it.
Oh,
you
wow.
actually just hit copy,
and
and then you go back. I don't know if you have Scott in your phone or not, but. Scott, what's your phone number?
28271-2562.
We'll have to. Right now, so.
Put him in and then you can show me how to do it. Yeah, I'm going to forward you that from
Okay.
Brian on the CXT.
Okay, and then we can,
And I have no idea, but you could contact her, find out what they cost, and then we can maybe get married to see if we can't get us a grant.
yeah,
We could also use the ARPA funds for that because it is sewer and septic and that
okay,
kind of stuff. So I'll figure out how to do it.
okay. Okay, so. I think
If
it's
we
about-
put 25,000 in this year, and then give you time to plan with the fair board for future years, for a 5-year plan? Or
Yeah,
do you think we need
see if
50?
I can get with Toby or the board and see what their thinking is of wanting to reconfigure the arena again.
We're
see if we can get
finalizing
things
today
painted.
at 1.
What's that?
We finalized the budget today at 1.
Okay,
So we're kind of out of time to do it, so.
okay, well, okay. Yeah, so that's kind of where we're at right now. I just kind of need to figure if they would still want that fence up so they can make an entry for the rodeo.
Yeah, I would contact Toby on that one. He's
Okay.
running the rodeo, so
Okay,
they should have volunteers down there right now. Brandon's down there with his tractor and stuff. I'm sure they can get it up in no time at all.
well, we can, because what we just need to do is string a line across there. It comes with the metal posts for it, and we just need to go along with our battery hammer drill and make a hole that we can put the post in and string it across there, make an entrance, and then make a gate that they can take down so that they can get the large trucks in to drop the stock off and things. And I don't know where they park the actual rodeo contestants that have horses and stuff, so they can get in and out. But yeah. See what we can do. Okay. Let's see, the EOC, I think I sent you a mail, we're gonna start on the 16th. It should take, they're being metal stud framed, they'll probably just take them a day and they'll be done.
Yay.
And then electrician's scheduled for the 17th. I talked with Jeremy to see what requirements we're gonna need for the badge entries on the 2 doors. We're no longer going to have a sliding glass door between there and the kitchen. We're going to go just with a standard metal frame door with a glass panel in it. We're going to go with a 3/6 door, a little bigger door there for them. But once we get going, it should, Brett says they've got most all the materials. The only thing that's out about a week is the doors. But,
Awesome.
The 3-foot-6 doors, will they be big enough for the furniture, the desks?
well, they should be. I mean, I think those break down, I'm sure in other locations they have to get them through a bigger 3/0 door, but that's what will be as you come up the stairway, it'll be a 3/0, and then the one come off the existing wall going west into the kitchen will be a 3/6 door. And, you got the big opening around the kitchen that comes into kind of into that room. So they should be able to get their stuff in there. So
Do you know, has all of the other equipment been ordered? I mean, do you know if Kelly's ordered everything that she was working on? And where are we at on?
she said she was signing agreements last, and there. So I think they're moving forward with that.
Perfect.
Right now, okay. So that's kind of where we're at with that. They're going to get going on it.
Exciting.
So.
Is it done?
Hey, the house over there, they went and finished some painting Saturday in there. We've got to put some towel bars up in the bathroom, and we're about good to go. They have some doors they need to adjust and get them working. They need to put one more closet door up. They said I didn't want one there, but I do want one there. It's kind of in the big room, as you off of the living room there. We put shelves and hanger rods up this last week in there. The guest bath's done, all except for towel bars. So we're about ready for it. and stuff.
Perfect. Thank you, Scott.
Yeah, it looks
And,
good.
Big challenge.
It looks pretty nice in there. So that should be, like I said, end of this week, middle of the week, we should be good to go with it. What they, rent it
I'm
out.
working with the city and trying to get a temporary structure on a new piece that we're going to be buying over there.
Okay,
And so as soon as I know more about that, I'll give you a call and we'll talk about that.
okay,
That'll move Rose Advocates. And we can get started on theirs.
okay.
I don't know that there's a lot to do in that house. Have you been in that house?
No, I haven't.
May want to schedule
And I
some time.
I should have been there by now, but it's just, she's been working there and she hasn't had any issues that but I need to look at it.
I went through it really quickly and it looks pretty good. I don't know that we're gonna have to do a bunch of work there,
Okay,
but we probably should at least have some idea if there's anything that needs to be fixed.
okay.
Scott, I went up and picked the bricks up on the house over here
Oh, did you? Okay,
day before yesterday.
okay.
And there's a little shed back there.
Mm-hmm.
I think needs to come down. It's starting to lean.
Okay,
Most of it is gonna be either burned or hauled to the dump.
yeah.
But be careful because there's a bunch of hornet nests.
Oh, there
in
is in there, yeah. I was in there the other
So
day.
don't just walk in there and look around because there's some right above your head.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. I was in there looking around last week and stuff, and it's
There was 400 bricks.
was there?
There's another pile on the west side underneath the wood,
Mm-hmm.
which is all rotten. All that stuff is not even good wood, but
Okay.
somebody gets bored, that'd be a great job.
Okay. Okay. Let's see where we're at. On the janitorial, I've got it written up. The bid. I've kind of written it up for 3 days a week. What we want to do, I don't know if we can do it, is have them bid it two ways. One with them supplying all the necessary stuff to do it, equipment, everything, the toilet paper, cleaning supplies, because they buy it. If we get an outfit like the bigger ones, they buy so much of it in quantity, they get a better price than we do going online or going through Office Savers. Then we don't have to worry about it. So I don't know if we can have them ask them to bid it both ways with or without, or if we want to just continue the way we are.
What happened there years ago, the county did that with the company, and the cleaning chemical they brought in put everybody out the building. Nobody could stand to go in there because the cleaner was so strong, and so they had a lot of complaints. So the county said, we'll provide the cleaning solution to them. So that's the only concern, is make sure the stuff they're buying doesn't stink us out of the whole facility, because it can be pretty potent stuff, some of that.
Yeah, one of the companies has already approached us. I mean, the list of clients they have in the valley, I mean, they're large, automotive dealerships, federal buildings, the fire center out there at the airport. I mean, so I'm sure if they're doing these large places, they've got chemicals or cleaning solutions that are compatible. Or if they're not, we'll tell them to get something else.
Just ask them to change out the product, but
I'm glad you're doing 3 days a week. I'm just wondering, we should put a clause in there that if we end up getting Corona back really bad again, we're gonna wanna go back to 5 days a week,
Yeah,
at least in the bathrooms and the main travel areas.
yeah.
I don't know what you're feeling on that.
Well, one of the gentlemen's kind of given me some help on how this bidding works, suggested that we have it in there that we can either do a change order or something and, modify the contract if circumstances changes. I'm kind of wondering what will happen on the Tuesdays and Thursdays on the real snowy days where we're tracking stuff in the building. It's, if it's something we live with, or we have to kind of go over and clean up the fishbowl if it's a lot of stuff's getting tracked in.
Personally, we have an open building. I think we need 5 days a week.
Yeah,
Well, just trying to save taxpayer money here. It's what,
yeah.
60,000 a year, what the contract is now, I think.
Well, between the two here in the annex, 80,000, and we're already over
80,000.
budget. We're in the negative on it. We still
Are we?
got, yeah, we still got 2 more months to go.
I understand that, but,
Yeah.
you know, we are gonna have to clean on those other days some way. Somebody's
Yeah,
gonna have to
so
do
that's
it
what I'm trying to
because
figure out how to.
I find stuff in the ladies' restroom that we don't want laying there for 2 days.
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
sorry, but
So, so I've got it written up. I just got to do battle with Word to type it up because I don't understand how it works and it's a fight. So,
Another learning curve,
Bugs
another
in
new
it.
thing.
oh yeah, I mean, I get it figured out, and the next time I go back, it doesn't work again. So that's kind of where we're on the janitorial. I actually, I need to bring our current contractors in and talk with them about some issues that haven't been taken care of. So that's kind of where I'm at. We had a meeting, or Commissioner Bingham and Oki, about Warm Lake and the issues out there, about locking it up, putting signage up that it's for the local residents, household, and, woody debris only, and also with maybe the adage to the signs, if it's continued abuse, it may be shut down. The one thing I noticed is, Warm Lake, or the Yellow Pine community, takes a vested interest in their transfer site and helps with it. Warm Lake people don't, they just complain when it's not the way they want it, and they don't seem to be willing to help with, helping maintain it. But that's what we're going to try and do so we can try and satisfy, or just do a better job out there and keep the Forest Service happy too. So,
Did you guys talk to both lodges about getting a commercial dumpster?
no, I think, weren't you and Oak
Yep.
going to work on
Yep.
them?
I was gonna say, Oki's putting together a letter that he's gonna
Yeah,
send
put
out
a
to
letter
them,
and
so
send to
that'll
them.
be taken care of.
If they're actually a commercial, and they shouldn't be using it's for residential, household, and woody debris only.
And that may solve a lot of our issues, but
Yep.
you're still gonna have the weekenders that are coming out of the Harmonica Festival somewhere to go
Yeah,
with their
and if
trash.
it's locked up, then we're gonna have to see what happens if we start seeing additional stuff thrown out. The Forest Service, I don't know how much, the patrolling we actually do out there. If the Forest Service is gonna see more of their bathrooms full of garbage, or if they're just gonna throw it out. Commissioner Bingham was saying, kind of like they do around Riggins, where they have in the pullouts, they have chain link fenced in deals with gates they can open and throw their stuff on the way home, since they aren't willing to take it back home and pack it out like they're supposed to. We're trying to look for some solution to deal with that out there. And then another is our own transfer site out there. We also discussed is doing a monthly inspection, and if Lakeshore is not willing to clean it up out there, then they kind of get a letter like we got, or a breach of contract. Because I've been here 5 years now, and I've just seen a total decline in it out there. I think it's a disgusting mess. And
It's in bad shape. If you haven't been up there, you need to get up there.
all
and
we
take a
get
look.
is lip service. He comes here and talks a good game and this and that. He does nothing at all. And
I was just at Warren. Warren's is a mess.
is it?
Yeah. So they have the
Mm-hmm.
gates on it, but there is a whole section that is nothing but furniture and
Mm-hmm.
and huge stuff and people are saying that it's been there for a long time. Idaho County is actually sending them a notice that they are going to try and find somebody else to do it.
Yeah.
So backcountry is a problem.
And I don't think it's on, they need to grow their program as the county grows. It's not on us to grow their program. They need to grow with us. And like I say, all we get, unfortunately, is a lot of lip service. And unfortunately, that our study that we've paid for through the Western Engineering is being held up. Its completion. We've made 3 requests for the information they said they would provide on how they work the commercial side of there, and we've gotten nothing. I just got another deal from Travis from the engineering firm, wanting to know if we're going to get anything, because they want to complete the study. We're at the end of it, and we can't get the information. We talked on when we're starting to do the contract, when we're consolidating that, is putting an ordinance, like I'm not sure which Kootenai County, they have an ordinance that requires their contract waste haulers to provide them information every month. And we might have to look at doing that if they're not going to be more forthcoming or willing to help us with that.
We could look at that contract with Lake Shore and see if that's already in there. Maybe
I don't
we just
think it
haven't been
is.
asking for it.
Yeah, but, and I was also supposed to get quarterly reports on the recycle center, and I haven't received anything this year. Also, and Mike's that was running it, his son-in-law is running, is quitting. So this week's his last week, so I need to see who Scott's got to take over operation of the recycle center out there. And we've had issues with people wanting to go down and dump at I don't know if I discussed that before, but they wanting to take their cardboard down and put it in the shed down there. And we're going to have to look at something for the commercial people that have large loads that can't slide it in, the printers and stuff, that we need either a roll-off or something that they can throw
They
their large
did put
quantity.
another roll-off in that
Did they
space since
do
we
it again?
talked about it. Yeah, I was over
Okay.
there on Saturday.
Okay.
And I believe they put in a new roll-off just for cardboard.
Yeah.
It's open top.
Because of the large, but commercial people, it's too hard to slide it in the openings. It's made
The
for
other issue
residential more,
This is the last 2 times I've been there, there's nobody around.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes they get down there at the baler or unloading, and then there's nobody up there.
Yeah.
But we've kind of contracted the hours and stuff we have with them there. I don't, if we need to look at that, and they need to have 2 people there, or not one person totally. It has to work every Saturday there. It's hard, people don't want to work every Saturday. So if they need to kind of have more than one person do a rotation on the weekend, but
Well, as I say, the way that we set it up originally was they were supposed to be down by the baler for a couple hours in the morning.
Yeah.
And then when we open up, I think it was like 10 to 4, 10 to 5, whatever the hours were that day, that, that person would be on site during the day. So like if he's going back and forth between the baler and the that area and the actual recycling center, then that's not part of what we discussed.
Yeah. But I think like when his cardboard bin gets full, he's got to go dump it before, more people. And that place is getting hammered. I mean,
It
it's
is getting hammered.
used.
I'd be really interested to see what our numbers look like for the last 3 months.
Too, because they're busy there, and
Hey, the good news is everybody's smiling there now. There's no complaints.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully we'll have some clean stuff that'll actually maybe not cost us as much to get rid of.
Yep. Another thing with the transfer site, I had learned last week that if you bring noxious weeds out there, you got to have them bagged and throw them in the actual household waste. I wasn't aware it's actually a state USDA mandate. We had an individual with a business. It's his 3rd season up here. He didn't know about it. The girls knew about it. They've got the noxious weed book. They turned his employee around, sent her back. He was all upset because it cost him time and money. But I talked with Summer. Her boyfriend works for a landscaper. He said that was part of his training when he got hired. They
I
told
was
him.
going to say that absolutely is their responsibility to know that.
Yep, and not knowing the rules, if you're going to set up a business, you better know it all. But he was pretty upset with me when he called. It cost him money that he couldn't recover. But and I talked with Steve. He said it's a USDA mandate. I didn't know about it, but I just
I
talked
sent
with
some this morning, but it was in plastic bags.
Yeah. And actually, Mackenzie sent me a deal on the household hazardous waste. And then in responding, I brought that up. We need to try to get that on our social media out there, that if you're bringing.
It's on the 21st, is that correct?
What's that? Yeah, this year, yep. And I'll actually be gone the 19th through the 24th. But we've got Summer and Jody and Mitch are going to be there. We've got an additional signage I bought that we're going to put out entrance and exit only, directing people. And so we're all good to go on that.
So have you
Thanks.
talked to Mackenzie on putting that on social media?
Yeah, I sent her an email this morning that we need to get the noxious weed information out there on our social media so that, but from talking to the girls, most people know it. But I didn't, I honestly didn't know it myself, but
How'd you know that we get that in the Star News too?
yes, what's her name, Lisa Montague or the family, she contacted Gabe last week, he passed it on. I gave her the dates and times, and she was gonna run it these last 2 weeks in the Star News for us.
Good.
And stuff. And then when I was talking or emailing with Mackenzie, asked her, next time I'm contacted like that, should I refer them to her or how I want to handle that and stuff. But from what I understand, they're going to run it the last two, or the next two publications. So it's out there.
Good.
So, let's see, other than that, we're having a little trouble with a 10-horse pump up there that does our or circulates our cooling and heating water. It keeps kicking off. We have a lead lag, so we have two pumps on that system. And I don't understand why, but generally when you have that, if one pump kicks off, it should be set up with controls that the other one automatically comes on. Ours isn't that way. I don't know if it was.
Oh, this is where?
It's our 10-horse pump up in there.
On jail?
Yeah, and it
Oh.
runs, right now it's running the cooling water because our heat pumps the water's not cooling. They cool the condenser, which is, has a compressor. And when that kicks out and that loop quits circulating, the condensers kick out on high heat, and then we have no cooling. And we've had it happen on a weekend. We just had it last week. Scott turned it back on again. It was only going 2 or 3 days, and then it would kick off. This time it ran 2 or 3 hours and kicked off. We don't know it's off till basically the server room heats up and the alarm lets us know. So I talked to the electrician today. We're going to test, and before we buy an $800 pump, see if it's not a contactor or something, if it is actually the electric motor itself. And then we're going to look at setting it up so when either one kicks off, it kicks the other one on automatically. And we're going to try and get some controls so we can get notified when equipment quits up there. We don't know when the boiler goes out till things get cold. If it's the middle of the night or weekend, we don't know what's going on up there. And in this day and age, with the stuff that's available, we should be getting notifications that pump quit, the flames out on the boiler, or the cooling tower hasn't kicked on, and we're way behind in technology as far as our mechanical room. So I talked to Rick because we have an issue. If you've seen out in the parking lot, the pavement's all caved in around our new poles for some reason. So I sent those pictures to Tri-State this morning that they need to get their excavator but they've caved in all around them. So I'm talking to him about that. So between them and ACO, and you can't win for
Scott,
these.
did we tell you we love having you on?
Hey, Scott just had his 1 year anniversary.
We're so happy.
I don't know if
Glad
there's
you're
going to be
here.
a second right now, but
Yeah, and he's looking at retirement.
yeah.
No.
But that was, because generally today's my day off. I used to come in for commissioner meeting, and so I come in usually an hour later, and Mitch sent me pictures of that this morning. So I drove by on the way in going, what the heck is going on with people? But anyway, so we have that issue, and right now Max, who's the owner, of Tri-State, he's supposed to be looking on where our lights are at, or, if there's ship dates or anything, because it's like everything else, it's just hard to get anything.
The whole world is on pause, waiting for Corona to go
Yeah.
away, I guess.
Yeah, so that was to start off the Monday with out there.
It's a Monday.
Yep. So, but anyway, those are some things we're working on. Everything else was kind of going along. I mean, do you guys have any questions on anything for me?
That it appears that masks are going to be required in the courtroom again.
Yep.
Do we have enough of a back,
We just
order on-
we gave some to Larry this morning, and I have, I think, 2 or 3 more boxes, so I need to order more.
Okay.
Have them on hand, and just look at our paper supplies. I try to keep at least 5 cases of toilet paper, all the stuff on hands because of the issues we've had. So I'll be ordering. I took a inventory last week. I need to order, toilet paper and stuff. So we'll just
Those things
add
still,
some more mix.
still hard to come by, back order? as far as
No, we're
bulk?
not having too much trouble
was
with
thinking
it
hand
right now.
sanitizer.
I don't want to be caught without it, and
Mm-hmm.
it does become that way. So I'm trying.
Probably want to check the hand sanitizer stashes too.
Yeah, I got plenty of that. I still have plenty of the Clorox wipes, quite a bit of that, just in case things come back and become hard to get. So I've been kind of stingy with them. I mean, and stuff, just trying to maintain it. And if do you really need them right now or not? But I do. The hand sanitizers, Clorox wipes are pretty good. I'm down to 3 boxes of masks, and need to, like I say, order toilet paper. We've kind of done away with the trifold towels. If you've seen and gone to the automatic towel dispensers, because we were just going through tons of those. Just they didn't work good. They fall out of the deal. They're hard to get out. So trying to.
They are hard to get out, especially when your fingers are wet.
So we went to the automatic dispensers and see if that works better for us.
And I think, your idea about getting the courthouse people clean to buy all that stuff, I don't know if that's a good idea. I think you need to be in charge of some of that stuff that they're not going to get done for us, or we will run out.
Yeah.
I just worry about that all the time, so.
Yeah. And so there's still things that are hard to get. It's some of the Lysol products are still out there, and they're extremely expensive.
Yeah.
That we've used in the past in the bathrooms and stuff. You just either can't get them, or where you do find them, you're looking at $19 a can for Lysol sanitizing spray and stuff, which is just ridiculous. And so I've gone to a lot of the ZEP products. They make a good product. They say they're Corona certified and stuff, so we've gone to using those.
The Lysol, you're paying for a lot of the name
Yeah.
probably right now.
Yeah. I think so.
Okay,
Okay.
I think that's it.
Thanks, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, thanks. Appreciate all your help. We're going to move right on down our agenda. Our next one is Road and Bridge. Jeff?
You don't need a break?
No.
Always take a break before you.
We made Scott wait.
Just offering it out there to you.
Well, I appreciate that, man. That's really nice of you.
So you guys have got a copy of the Boulder Lake FERDA in your packet?
Yep. And do you still want to proceed with that? I'm still.
It's not gonna be any different than any other road we have.
I was more concerned about the borrow pits, because there's a lot of materials got to come out of those borrow pits. And you mentioned a while back that that's going to have to be done with a backhoe and a truck, 'cause
It's-
you can't put it back on the road.
It's just like the East Fork Road. We can't pull the ditches and mix it in with the material on the road anymore. We gotta bunch it, load it with the backhoe and haul it out.
But
Just
you
like-
also had a concern about the material that they put on last time, that heavier stuff and challenges that it was gonna require as far as regular maintenance
If,
or blading it.
it's gonna require one more piece of equipment. It's gonna take the big roller. But once that stuff gets set, it should be set for a year.
Are we looking at asking them to do any improvements before they give it over to us? I know there were a couple of erosion spots that we were talking about too.
Couple of the what?
Oh, just spots on that curve going up to the,
I don't think there's any way to fix that.
okay.
It's too steep. That's what I was gonna bring up. I mean, I'm for it, but
Well, I was gonna say, I thought we were all for it, and you kind of came back earlier
I
this year
did,
and
and I
said you were a
started thinking
little
about it. It's-
hesitant.
It's just like that loop through Patty Flat. We're not gonna get paid, we're only gonna get paid for that portion that goes through the Forest Service, which is 1,500 feet, plus the stuff we maintain through the private area. Once a FERDA road hits state, we don't get paid for it. I can't put it on my blue line.
So Jeff,
You're
that's
talking
what,
Patty Flat, or you're talking
No.
Boulder? Sorry, Sherry.
Boulder Lake. Patty Flat's the same way. We go state, and then half a mile of federal, we get paid for, and then back into state, we don't get paid for, back into fed, we get paid for.
Well, how many miles will actually go on our blue line? For that whole
It
road?
won't even be miles, it'll be like 1,700 feet.
And the rest of it, we're not going to get paid for.
So
No,
segment 2, is that the one that we get paid for? I mean, I'm looking at their map and that's where I was trying to figure out what segment you were talking about. That we
so,
actually
so
get.
there's a segment, so there's a chunk of private land in there that's all those 20-acre chunks.
Just as you come in.
We get paid through there. And then the chunk from the beginning of that private back to the cattle guard, which is what we call the turkey track.
That's not very long.
It's not on the map. That's not what it's called on the map, Jeff.
It's not called the turkey track. It's the
Not-
road that goes down to Crookshank Reservoir. It's the road that goes up to Shaw Twin.
Will you come here and look at this map for me?
I can show you too, like where he's talking about the
So this
intersection is right there.
So we're getting paid because this is public. We're not getting paid for this. We are getting paid for this, and we're not getting paid for the rest of it.
I think those are the two pieces that we're asking to take over, is that piece and that piece.
It's just one piece we're asking to take over.
So we're not looking
It's
at,
about 1,700.
Okay.
That will release Forest Service having to get permission for the private snow plowing up there. Right now, the private snow plowers have to get Forest Service before they get permission. The last fall, all the way up to the end, that's something we need to talk about.
I have an issue if we're not gonna get it on the blue line. Why do we want to even take this on? All it's gonna do is cost us
Because-
money.
From what Commissioner Moppin said, we're gonna try to take over that campground up there.
That's
It'll
Larry
be a county
Laxton said.
maintained campground. I don't know where we're at on that, but
Well, that's on our recreation plan.
that's
Right.
is
down
to
the
put a
roadways too.
campground
so who's
up
gonna
there.
take care of the road if that becomes a county campground up there?
Well, the county's gonna take care of it, but we're gonna pay to camp up there, and that can help.
Will that
hopefully.
money come back to the road department or does it stay in the recreation department?
Well, I think there needs to be a good compromise between those.
I mean, we need to figure out $500 a mile for maintenance, kind of thereabouts, $500 to $600 a mile.
If we don't take it, what happens? Does it just continue on the way it's always been going?
Nobody will take care of it unless, like we've done in the past, it gets really bad, we'll run a road grader up there.
But as far as the private guy being able to plow it, he'll be able to do all that still.
No.
If we don't take it.
If we don't take it, he's gonna have to go through the Forest Service first, get their permission before he comes through us to get our agreement.
But if it's not our
But,
road,
but we can take to the end of that private property, which is ours anyways, the end of those 10, 20-acre parcels right in there, however many there is. The main thing in question is the FERDA of that 1,700 feet between the turkey track and the beginning of the private land.
Okay, come
Well,
here.
that is the narrowest section of that road too.
Yes. And it's right next to the creek.
that was called segment 1.
Okay.
That's the FERDA part.
So I was gonna say, part of the bigger discussion, and it doesn't occur today, but we gotta figure out how we're gonna talk about that plowing occurring during the winter up there as well. 'Cause it's not working out right
It
now.
needs to happen with a blower. That's the only way it can happen and be done correctly. Because you got a cut bank here, you got a creek there. You're gonna run out of room after about 3 snowstorms.
What do you do, blow it into the creek or over the creek or what?
No, either that or up on, the cut bank's not that high.
Up on the top?
Morel's blower, or,
Right.
just any kind of a big
Well, we don't have a
6-foot
good
blowers.
turnaround up there. People are getting stuck on a regular basis where that splits off. He's
Who's
plowed
gonna take care of the turnaround on
pile of
their own
snow
dime?
into, what was the snowmobile route going up Boulder Road. So, I mean, like I said, there's a bigger discussion that we need to have before you sign that road agreement. But
So this is part of our recreation half up there.
absolutely is.
So that's the only reason that I'm willing to do the FERD on this is a part of our county grooming program. It's a part of, I just feel like we need to,
It's not a part of the grooming program. It's not a groomed route. It's a snowmobile access route that's not a county groomed.
Yeah,
route
there's
at
no
all.
groomer that goes up there.
okay.
My personal feeling is I don't think we take it. All this is gonna do is cost us a lot of money.
Do you wanna take it to the private land?
That would be segment 2.
But from there up to the end, to the campground, I mean, we can do it in segments.
Is there a turnaround at the end of the private land where you can turn around and come back out?
Could
So
we
you're
create
kind
one?
of stuck having to go all the way?
But we're not gonna maintain that road in the winter.
No, we don't maintain past the end of the pavement in the wintertime.
That's at Morel Lane essentially right now.
But that was the big deal with the past was we were trying to get the private snow removal people to allow a turnaround parking area up there. Then it came back to me going, why do I have to spend an extra hour plowing out a public parking area when it doesn't have nothing to do with me? I'm doing it for free.
Right.
If you want to think about it for a couple more weeks, if you want to sit down maybe next Monday and have a half-hour discussion during commissioners.
I think we should have a little bit more discussion on it. It seems like we got time in our agenda next week. The question I'd have is what is the Forest Service doing as far as road maintenance in general right now? I mean, they have the equipment, they have a 4-person
They
crew, I
are
believe.
so basically the same equipment that works around the Mountain Home area is the same equipment they have up here.
Well, they have a grader and an excavator sitting there that hasn't moved as far as I could tell.
Sitting where?
At the McCall District Office. They've got a Mini X, they've got a full-size excavator, they've got a grader.
We were told by Will Perry last week that anything that they're working on, they have absolutely no funding. They're going to do it one shot every other year.
It's not even
And
getting
that's-
that right now. I'm just curious, like, you know, what's the reason that we would want to take on additional Forest Service roads, I guess? I mean, we agree that that's a very important road.
Right.
And it's going to have more development on it in the future. I think there's pluses and minuses. I think we should talk about it a little bit more next week.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to take a lot of convincing to take this road.
Okay.
I don't know enough about it, so honestly, I'm looking to you guys.
I drove up there here a while back this
That's-
spring when it snowed in June and it's like, gosh, I don't know if it's a pretty shady, dark road. I mean, it's going to be
It's
really hard to
narrow.
keep it.
And, you know, in Dave's words, it's kind of volatile, however you pronounce that word, just because of the water right there in the state's pretty darn picky about, we get a little mudslide or something, there's a lot of springs in there. It'd be kind of like the South Fork. We got to be
I don't
very, very
even know why
careful.
we're cleaning the bathroom up there. Why are we?
We got the grant to put it in. So it's
We
essentially
installed
our
it.
bathroom.
I thought it was the Soil Conservation District that got the grant and then they said, we can't maintain it.
Right. We helped
You
them
guys take it over.
get that grant. And I think that was part of the agreement was with the grant, that was sort of a match on it, is that we would provide the maintenance on it. And there is a great goal of having that be a county facility up there at some
Right.
point, but I think we're still a ways out on that discussion.
I mean, so today I'm putting traffic counters up at the end of the pavement. Want to see how many people are going up that road to that,
That'd be
specifically that zip line.
good info.
How many people, I mean, that's going to show how many people's going up that road.
But we've all been here before in the past. We don't have money to do this kind of stuff and we got to stop doing it.
Agreed.
You have more than one of those units?
What's that?
You have than one of those counters?
Oh, yeah, I got 4 of them.
It would be worthwhile in my mind, Jeff, to put one at the bottom at the pavement and then one up above the zip line to see what the traffic
above
split
the
is.
zip
'Cause
line?
that trailhead has been getting a ton of use. I
Okay.
mean, that's a Forest Service trailhead.
Right. But once again, I mean, that zip line's on the state lease.
Right.
Where's that money going?
Ideal.
They're using the road.
Okay, so we're gonna, I'm assuming then we're gonna postpone this one to a future date.
I mean, do you want to talk about it? The Forest Service is asking me when it's going to get signed. When and if. That's why I got it on today, because, hate to say it, but fall's coming.
We've been talking about it all summer.
Well, we can make a decision today if you want us to.
That's up to you.
I would like a little more information first.
You want me to see if I can get one of the
What's next
IDL
week
people
look
down
like?
here maybe next Monday? I
I don't know what good it's gonna do because it, you know, my concern is like, just like you said, when I drove it here in June, there was a giant mud puddle clear across the whole road from the snow. And it was going right off in the creek and I just went, ooh, I
Yeah,
don't know if we want this road or not. There was no culvert anywhere even close to it.
this spring.
And it's like, this could be a big washout and cost us a lot of money to fix.
There's a couple of spots on that road right now that are kind of, got some holes in that new material they put down. So,
How about we put it on next week's agenda for as an action item for a discussion decision on this?
And maybe minimize, you know, how much of the road we're taking, not take it all the way up.
right,
You know, just take it past that private ground or whatever, which helps, but.
yeah. Summer maintenance, we already go to the easterly boundary of that private property.
Okay.
But there's that little chunk in the middle that's a Forest Service, hoping I say this right, a Forest Service state cost share deal, which requires a FERDA in there.
That might be the only piece that we take for now and wait until a long-term decision
That's
on a
Kind of
recreation.
what I was saying, we can phase this out if we need to. I
That would
think
make
that-
more sense to me.
That first section's not bad. They've replaced all the culverts, they've put the rock on the road.
So the stuff that you were looking at, Eld, is that up
So that's
higher?
segment 3, past the private road.
Now, segment 1 should be the very first one you come to.
Oh, I see, segment 1,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's a little short, it's 1,700 feet, I think, or something like that.
Yeah,
I think it's
That's
labeled
the,
segment.
that's the one that, that's basically the only section that this FERDA is referring to that's part of this, getting this snow removal thing taken care of.
Got it. So this that we're
This
looking
is
at
n-
is not the whole road. This is only for that section too.
Yes,
Well, Boulder Reservoir is at the top right, or at the far right. That's the end of the road.
Right.
And
So this
then-
is just right here.
Yeah, that's the top section that he's talking about. And then the piece in the middle that's not highlighted is the private.
according to
road
this
section.
one, it says section
section
1
2.
and segment 1 and segment 3.
I didn't print that off,
Total length of both strips of land equals 11,440 feet.
11,000.
So this
That'd be
is
about
the,
right, because from the
this
private
includes-
property up to the dam is like 2.2 miles or something like that. So, yeah, that 1 and 2, that's the whole thing.
and this includes segment 3, which is the hump.
Now that's what we don't want.
We don't want
We don't
segment
want
3.
We don't want segment 3.
Segment 3 is from the private property all the way to the end.
Oh, you said that was,
That's 3, yeah. That would be the challenging
yeah.
one for us to maintain.
Yep.
And I just have questions like, why aren't we putting more pressure on the Forest Service to maintain that? That's the most popular trailhead in our area.
I think the state and the Forest Service ought to be pitching in.
Yeah, I mean, I hadn't
because-
even considered the revenues that they're generating.
I don't
from the-
know how many cars I seen up there at that zip line that day I went up there. I was just like, holy smokes, I don't know how much they're charging, but for how much their lease is, I don't know what kind of profit margin they're running. I don't know.
It's the hesitation of IDL to reinvest.
Okay, so we'll postpone this till next week. Put it
Okay.
back on.
Okay.
How long of a discussion do you want? 30 minutes or?
Probably 30 minutes, yeah, that'll work.
Okay,
I've been
first
making
thing.
an action item, decision discussion.
Can do it at 9:45 for 30 minutes.
Okay,
Jeff, maybe we could ask the Forest Service if they're willing to just do segment 1 and not segment 3.
Okay.
That would make more sense to me.
yeah, I agree with that.
Just segment 1.
Just segment 1, which means they'd have to write up a whole new contract or road easement thing.
Okay.
You have another action item on no business.
Oh, Larry was supposed to be here.
We wanted to postpone that.
We
until
want to
after the-
postpone this
Yes.
because the Snowmobile Advisory Group wants to look at this. They have some concerns that Mr. Jakes did not perform last year,
Okay,
and so they have it. And they're gonna talk about it Thursday, and then we'll get back to us
okay.
hopefully by Friday. So Gabby, let's put this one on next week too as an action item as well.
Absolutely.
Jeff, while you're here, could you give us a quick update on South Fork Road? What you know?
Don't know much about it.
Like mile 16, is that?
15.
15, so that's
Yep.
below the hot springs?
Nope, just above it.
Okay.
It's in their prescribed burn area. Don't know if that was part of the cause or not. It's just, it's between the hot springs and Poverty. About a mile above the hot springs.
Are you
Yeah, kinda-
feeling very blessed that we didn't take that easement right now? Yes.
You don't have any idea like what they're talking about as far as getting that thing reopened or what kind of damage there was
See,
involved?
that goes back on Forest Service with their equipment.
Mm-hmm.
They have to get their backhoe here. They got to get a dump truck here. They don't have it on site.
Can they hire a contractor to go do it?
They could, but they're kind of in the same boat I am. If it's not in their budget, I don't know if it's, kind of goes back on what we talked about at the road advisory, the bear money, and helping to pay for this burned area emergency response stuff. To me, that should be part of a burned area
When did that burn?
this year, this spring.
This year.
It was a prescribed fire.
Oh, great.
Well, and I'm so glad we didn't take it. This is a good lesson
Didn't
on,
do a lot, though,
this
as
is
far
what
as
can
landscape
happen.
Down there, those aren't that heavy.
And the Forest Service is gonna have to man up and
Catastrophic.
realize they need to budget for roads.
Yeah.
Start taking care of this
Yeah,
stuff.
and I don't know if they're back there working on it now. I have no idea. But I talked to Will Friday when all this transpired and they were trying to get all their equipment lined out and get it back there.
That just doesn't seem to make sense. Like I said, they have equipment in the McCall compound. It's there year round.
How'd the Harmonica Festival go as far as getting that road done? Were you able to hire
I did not
somebody?
hear
or
any complaints.
Did
put
you
it that
hire
way.
somebody to go blade it out, or did you guys go
Nope, I
back and
sent
do
my
it?
two
or-
guys back there. They spent a long day and they got down to marker 10, which is the worst section of the road.
The steep stuff.
Steeper stuff they got through. I think they had one more steep hill to get down, but they said the traffic was getting so bad they had to quit. It was just car after car after car. And I'm sure you go back there this morning, you're not even gonna notice that we even did anything last Thursday.
You have you been around East Side Drive lately?
It's been about a month.
Washboard between the end of the last residence out there and what is that, Lemma Creek Bridge?
Yeah,
It's it's
really,
real
that
deal.
hill. Well, you guys, I told you what the traffic count was on Tamarack Falls last week.
Mhm.
It's huge. We can't keep nothing together. We've already hit some of these roads 6, 7, 8 times that we usually only have to hit 3 times a year.
The
The
road
summer's not even
advisory
over.
board was giving Jeff good feedback on hiring a contractor to do Johnson Creek and the East Fork.
I've talked to one and, yeah, the one we talked about at the road advisory, I've talked to him.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've got my guys back there right now. We're gonna get Johnson Creek done correctly this week. East Fork, I'm not gonna blade it until my mag's ready to show up. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to do it twice.
Doesn't Perpetua do some of that? Are you talking about the East Fork below Yellow Pine?
Yeah, from Yellow
Oh, okay.
Pine to
Yeah.
Xena Creek.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got 10 potholy spots in it, but the rest of it's pretty smooth.
Slows people down.
He was supposed to get the mag chloride, but it was held up because of the fires, so.
Yep. Forest Service pretty much commandeered everything North American had.
Really?
They left them one distributor and one tanker. And they've got to have 300, if I remember the number right, 330 tons of calcium chloride to do the East Fork, which they've got to take empty tankers in and then take other tankers in to fill those tankers up. So they got enough to do it. And Forest Service took them all, and I don't know when we're going to get them. There's a lot of people waiting for them. But we got to talk to Will at the Forest Service. That agreement's not extendable. We have to expend that money this year. There's no guarantee we'll get it next year. So even if it's in September, October, we're gonna put calcium on that road.
Well, and finish the contract and see where it goes next year.
Yeah.
Good gosh, man, people, all these agencies need to step up and help with these roads. This is crazy.
That was, we had Will on the phone for 3 hours on last Wednesday.
Yeah.
And that was the comments from the road advisory, but we're also gonna talk to them about potentially combining some projects, because right now, we're doing over CSASH over to where Idaho County starts, and then Idaho County's trying to do it, and then it comes back to Valley County, and we're just gonna, and the Forest Service is doing some of that, so we're gonna see if everybody can collaborate together and do some kind of an MOU where it's one contractor doing all of it, and we all help with the expense of that. Make a lot more
Great
sense.
idea, but good luck with Idaho County.
That was brought up years ago when Gordon was sitting up there.
Idaho County said, no way.
And it goes back on, do we have time to do it? I mean, I don't know.
Or you get a contractor to do it as part of, the backcountry stuff.
Right.
So if Idaho County has to bring something clear around, I mean, I can't imagine, why would you do that if you can participate?
What comes from Kuski or Kamei, their equipment does, because that's part of the road department. That's not a highway district, so.
Yeah. A long haul.
It is.
And this traffic this year, usually they can hit that road in the spring, right when we open their CSASH Summit. They do it, I mean, they haul a roller in there, they get that road set. I think this year it might have made it 2 weeks. There's a lot of people up here. And you heard Will at the advisory meeting the other day, we're all putting our heads together to try to figure out a way to design that country road that'll hold up with all these side-by-sides.
Hate to say it, but that is a big part of the problem.
Yeah. It doesn't matter if they're
Lightweight
going fast
buggy,
or
yeah,
slow, they
they're light.
suck the rocks out of the road.
So we're gonna have further conversation about that.
Yeah.
Okay, what else you got, Jeff? We're running out of time.
Old State Highway, end of this month. Question that Josh has is, can they close the road?
You can't do one side and then the other?
They can. It's an extra, this is figured into the bid. He can save us $15,000 by closing that road. Won't be any flaggers or pilot cars.
They'd come in off Loomis?
They can go in and out off of Loomis.
What about the people that actually live on it?
They would, there's only, well, the people that
Like
live on Eagle Ridge
five
right
or-
there, and then there's one other person, and I think that's Dorena that lives at the next house.
Okay.
That's all there is.
As long as they
What do you recommend?
It can go either way with me. I'm thinking $15,000, that's a big chunk of money.
How long is it gonna take them to do that? Do they have a number of days?
A couple of weeks. They're gonna get it in there and hammer it out. It'll be done quick.
Kirby Robertson lives back in there, and he said as someone that lives there, they can take Loomis for 2 weeks and say 15,000. That
The
was
only bad
feedback
thing is
from them.
about Loomis is it's kind of hard to pull out right there because you can't see to the north very well around that corner. And if you're gonna add 75% more traffic to that intersection, that's what worries me. As people come around that corner at 70, 75, you're pulling a trailer of any sort, good luck getting out in front of people.
Yeah, and I think the liability is gonna be pretty high. My feeling is let's not let him close it.
Okay. That's kind of what 65% of me says is just, if
We're gonna
people
get
still want to
somebody-
go through the construction, they can go through the construction, but most of the people aren't going to want to deal with it, but.
Say, I'm gonna think most of the folks are end up driving around it anyways, if they have to sit and wait.
But that's
for
on them.
flaggers.
That's on them if they want to come out on Loomis. We're not making them go that way.
Right. The liability of making them go out there can be pretty hard on the county.
It could be. Loomis is not, it's okay, but I don't know, it's only for a couple weeks.
Thank God we don't have an asphalt batch plant right there in that corner too, huh?
Asphalt would be cheaper.
Yeah, it would be.
Smiths Ferry Drive closures. Road over the top. What are we gonna do?
That
Last
starts
year?
again the 7th, or,
7th.
I think we should go back what we did before.
Exactly the same thing.
Same
Put-
thing,
put
so
the
everybody
barricades up
knows.
And pull the barricades Thursday night, reset them or Monday morning.
I think we got to do it the same like we did last time.
Okay.
That's my vote. These
Okay.
guys can
So-
change it if they want.
The same meaning UPS is going over. I mean, truckers or the
Mail,
loggers are going over,
logging trucks and the residents.
and just the residents from Smiths Ferry. Okay. We still have that list.
Yep.
And McAlvin still has the list, you know, McAlvin, however you say that. The construction folks that are going to run that, they have the list of the locals and all
That's
that.
ITD.
Well, that's ITD.
Yeah. Alex Deduck.
Okay.
Deduct. Yeah.
I would check with them, make sure they've got that list.
Yeah, he
Is
does.
there anybody else wanting to get on the list?
Oh, there's a lot of people that want to get on the list.
I mean, locals live there.
So Jeff, have you talked to them? Because in the spring, they were only closing 12 to 2. And Alex had told me that they were going to try and do that. I mean, it was Alex, one of their marketing people said they were going to try and do that again this fall instead of the 4 hours. 2 hours is a lot better than 4 hours. I just think we need to ask them
About-
again if there's
about
anything.
24 hours.
Ask them again if there's a way that they can go back to the 2 hours. They were way ahead supposedly in the spring. I don't know where they're at now.
And I think part of the problem too is we've got major projects going on 95 right now, so both routes are
Yeah.
equally jammed up.
Yeah, everything's compromised. And I mean, for the residents in Smiths Ferry, I mean, if they could plan just a 2 hour stint, you can come up and go to the doctor and, you know, be able to get back and 2 hours is fine. But
I'll ask him.
10 to 2.
All we can do is ask.
That's what
All
they're
we can do is
advertising
ask.
for is 10 to 2, but a lot of that 2 hour closure, I think, also was the cattle hauling,
yeah,
which this fall they'll be hauling cattle back through, so.
yeah.
And they're not going to climb Smiths Ferry Hill in a cattle truck.
No, I mean, with the closures, they can't leave them on those cattle trucks
Right.
that long. What,
And with
when do they
95
haul
being
cows
closed.
out of here? October-ish?
It depends. This year, I think there's going to be a lot of them going out earlier because
Out
everybody's
earlier.
running out of grass.
Yeah.
But those guys are going to plan for it. They're going to know that they can't pull out here till 2
Right.
or they got to beat it at 10. And,
Okay,
you know,
I'll ask them. I'll let you know.
Sue from Yellow Pine just said the South Fork they're supposed to be cleaning it tonight and reopening tomorrow.
Okay,
Let you know.
okay. One last thing. Silver Fox, I told Andy Salisbury I would bring this up. He's wanting to put landscape rocks where the big white spots are. I said I would rather not. I told him I'd ask you, okay?
That's our right of way.
Yeah,
I
no.
don't
Okay.
think we want to do that.
Okay,
That it?
anything for me?
Keep up the good work. When are you gonna fix the spots on?
And what?
I was driving, there's 2 spots on Farm to Market.
I got more signs up this morning, and it's like I said in the road advisory, unless Chris is making asphalt,
Okay,
I've got to go to Boise to get it.
got it.
So,
We need a little maker on our own.
We need an asphalt batch plant?
Yes.
How much
Yeah.
money do
A
you got?
portable one. Are they
Yeah.
really expensive?
Oh, my gosh. Yeah.
I have no idea about that kind of stuff, so.
Okay, thanks, Jeff.
okay,
Thanks,
thank
Be
you.
safe. Okay, at this time, we are going to go into an executive session for indigent and charity. I would entertain a motion to go in 2061D.
So moved.
Second,
Moved and seconded by roll call.
Liam and I.
Mop and I.
Hasbrook, aye, and Gabby will be in at about 11:40. Going to take a couple of seconds and then we'll come back.